What's going on, everybody? This is Jibril Salam.
And Muhammad Hassan.
And you are listening to the Young and Muslim Podcast.
As-salaam Alaikum, everybody, and welcome back.
We have a very special guest today. Our first guest.
Finally, Al-hamdulillah. Long time coming.
Oh, yes, but we've been keeping you under wraps for a while.
Yes, mashallah, mashallah.
We're going to allow you to do the pleasure of introducing yourself and just giving us a brief spill about who you are and what you're about.
As-salaam Alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Amir Muhammad. I am the curator and president of America's Islamic Heritage Museum. It is the only museum in the country, in the world, for that matter, that tells the story and the history of Muslims in America, which is a very unique, long, and rich history. I'm an author of 8 books, and I'm just really your humble servant of Allah. You know, growing up in the United States, and participated and engaged into worshiping Allah and trying to be a servant.
Ameen. You know, what's crazy, Brother Amir, is that you mentioned that this is not only the only Islamic Heritage Museum in America, but the world. I live in America for about 24 years now, and I just found about this museum last year. You know, and Jibril just moved up here, and he went to the museum before I did, so shame on me.
This is my 4th or 5th time in here.
Yes,
right.
mashallah.
But mashallah, there's thousands behind you.
Absolutely.
From Muslim leaders
Yep.
to non-Muslims. And just Muslims that live in D.C. and the DMV area that has not been here.
DMV.
But there's many that has.
Yes. So when are you open? What are the hours of operation?
We are open from Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 5. Give and take a little bit, flexibility. And then on Sundays from 12 to 5.
Okay.
And it's in special hours.
Got you. And you've been operating since 1996, correct?
Correct. Yes, we have.
So what prompted you to start this? There's nothing out here, so there was really no example for you to pull from. What prompted you to start your own museum? And then there's what, 7, 8 rooms in here as well?
Yes.
So
What prompted me was there was a need to tell our story. Nobody was telling our story.
And what story is that exactly?
The story of Muslims in America.
Okay.
It's a very rich story. I used to own a bookstore in Richmond, Virginia in the early 80s, which is Islamic, African American, children, metaphysical. And so I gained a lot of self-awareness of our history and our heritage. Then I moved to the D.C. area and worked for a Muslim immigrant company. And a lot of the Muslim brothers there saw a disconnect. They didn't identify themselves as being a part of the American fabric, nor did they want to accept us as African American Muslims as being true Muslims or Muslims. They didn't see that connection, so I felt there was a need for us to tell our story. And I felt that our story was big enough and inclusive enough that it could tell everybody's story.
Absolutely.
You know, I reached out to different Muslim communities from different ethnic groups. They could not, their interest and their focus was on their story. They could not conceive to be able to tell how best to tell Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam story, Noble Drew Ali's story, the Ahmadiyyan stories. You know, these are Muslims that make up American fabric that the majority of the Muslim world don't look upon them as being true Muslims. Yet they make up American fabric. So we were able to develop through time these different stories. I remember as a childhood, my mother playing with puzzles. With a puzzle, you got to do different pieces. You know, and our stories are like
to
puzzles.
tell a story.
Yeah. You know, Allah says, "Travel throughout the earth and see what's before you. Learn from the lessons that are in the earth, within creation."
Absolutely.
And he said, "What surely man get for what he strives for?" All right. So I came up with. I was a firm believer in I think, therefore I am. Or as they said, first it was the word, and the word took on flesh. The Quran says, "Kun," said be, and it is. But we think because we drink Pepsi, it's now. That be may take 10 years from now.
Yeah,
you know,
patience.
you got to patience, perseverance.
Yeah.
Allah,
I
if you
love
believe, He
those
says,
who
"What?
persevere.
Surely, man gets what he strives for, right? So if you believe that."
But the man wants it now.
Right. You know, and then what happened is that by growing up in the Nation of Islam, you know, we used to sell the papers, sell the fish. Every day our mantra was, "Surely I tell myself to deal while trying to be upright. To him who originated the heavens and the earth, and not the polytheists. Surely my prayers, my sacrifice, my life and my death are offered thee, Allah, the Lord of all the worlds." no associate, not Farad or nobody,
Mm-hmm.
is he. Just I am commanded. I am those who submit. Thou the king. You know, thy will be done. So these are things that we had to do. You know, we work. You know, we engage. You know, we call it fishing. Today they call it dawah. You know, we was involved, engaging the people. So that story need to be told.
Yeah.
You know, Muhammad Ali fought too hard. Malcolm X fought too hard. Elijah Muhammad fought too hard. W.D. Muhammad fought too hard. We fought too hard to give up.
And many more people before them.
Before them. Yeah, come on, man. It's a link. You know, you could see American history. I don't want to go on a tangent, man, but y'all started out with a lot of energy, a lot of focus, man. So you got me started, young bloods, okay?
Hey.
It's what they do to you.
There's a lot of things to hear that we can unpack. What I want, at least from my personal end, was talking about the fabric, right? As I mentioned to you, I am a U.S. citizen, and so is the rest of my family. But I never felt like I was part of that fabric because not only did I not know my history, but I didn't make myself part of that fabric because I didn't think there was a place for me, you know? And just learning the history, meeting up with Jabril and stuff like that, I'm like, man, everything that happened here gave me the liberty to practice my faith freely, safely, and justly. You know, like no other. I can, like right now, I'm from Egypt. I can't go back to Egypt, and I can practice my religion freely. But there's certain places I can't say certain things. In the U.S., I mean, alhamdulillah, some people you can go out and pray in the streets without a problem. Not all the places, you know, but there is a reason why that came. So when I came to this museum, this really did open my eyes. I'm like, wow, because the first thing that came to my mind and a lot of other individuals is that when I think of Muslims in America, the first thing that comes to my mind is NOI, the Nation of Islam, right? And that story, it's a great story. I read the book by Alex Haley talking about like Malcolm X, stuff like that, but there was so much before him. He was just a link, you know? So how can individuals like me coming from another country not only embrace the black Muslims in the struggle, but how can we feel like we're part of it?
Mashallah, you can feel that you're a part of it because we're Muslim. We cannot. I remember years ago, we had the exhibit out, and some of the early figures, you know, from the first Hafiz was an African. His name is Job Ibn Dijallo, and a few others. But what happened is that we had this exhibit out, and I saw some immigrant sisters that was maybe Persians or you know somewhere else. They didn't see themselves, and that's not my story. Because they're looking through a black and white eye, American eye. You know, you got to look through it as a Muslim eye. Oh, that's a Muslim. So that's my connection. You know, Allah says, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was a prophet for humanity.
Humanity, yes.
He didn't say he was a prophet for the Arabs or the black or the white or the Egyptian or the Misra. You know, he said for humanity. For humanity. So our call is a human call. You know, if you look at Malcolm X's call was a human call. You know, Muslims to the Nation of Islam. If you look at the Nation of Islam, you know, some of these scholars, man, we visited Johnny Come Lately people, talk about the Nation of Islam. We African Americans, they use Islam for politics. We didn't. Yeah. We didn't vote. Just like you say, you didn't feel a part of this country. We didn't feel a part of this country. Really.
For a long time.
Yeah. But you didn't. The politicians knew about Malcolm and his community, and because of the numbers that he represent, because we didn't vote. They knew we didn't vote, so we had no political power because we didn't believe in this country. You know, we've built a nation within a nation. But it wasn't until 1975 where Amir Muhammad came, but I want to say even before I go there, you know, Elijah Muhammad said, "I'm not here to teach you religion. I'm here to clean you up." Yeah. And I was just in Canada, and I know you got some Canada audience out there. As-salaam Alaikum to my Canadians. Mashallah.
Mashallah.
Love y'all. That the Allah, I said Canada, I shouldn't have went off there. It's lost my thought.
Okay, shout out.
That the Nation of Islam, I was in Canada, and the guy asked me, kept pressing me, he said, when did y'all get the Quran? When did y'all get to the Quran? I know we talked earlier, Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave his ministers and a lot of people the Quran, but we put it on the shelf. He said, we'll get to that later. He said, I'm not here to teach you religion, I'm here to clean you up. So the guy kept pressing me till he saw that I didn't really understand what he was saying. Then he said, look, in India, northern part, we had the fiqh. In Sunnah, before they got the Quran, they had to clean up. We had to do wudu. We had to be in the wudu state. So that was a natural process for us to go through. Because I said, Elijah Muhammad taught us fiqh. Do not steal, do not lie, do not cheat.
That's a good way to put it.
He said even though that European man may be who he is, give him an honest day's labor. You know?
Yeah.
But what Muslims believe in, I said earlier, we do not believe in politics. We believe in freedom, justice, and equality.
For all people.
For everybody.
And
For humanity.
And that's Islam.
And that is Islam. And just like you talk about in Egyptian and in other Muslim countries, you know, they did not have that freedom
No.
to think,
Yeah.
to have that relationship with Allah. There's no intersection in religion, you know, and this is the best thing American offers. You know, is the opportunity for all human beings to have the freedom of thought, the freedom of diversity, the freedom of faith, and the freedom to bring out the goodness.
Mashallah.
After Elijah Muhammad left, because even Farad knew he didn't have it. He said, look, after Elijah Muhammad comes, the one come after me is going to teach you religion. Muhammad came after us. And the Quran showed the signs. You know, during Prophet Muhammad time saw Islam, we had to change our Qibla, right?
Yeah, we did.
Change our direction. Well, Quran came, we had to change our direction. You know, nobody worshiping this shirk and all this. We had to change our direction.
We used to pray towards Jerusalem and Palestine.
Yeah. You follow what I'm saying? So this, you know, we was taught that the Quran is real, microcosm, macrocosm. That the prophets represent certain characteristics of the human nature and aspects. So when you read the Quranic stories, the biblical stories, the Torah stories, these are stories that help you build your character in order to make us become better human beings, better servants, you know. The Quran says this is the book, and it is guidance, sure, without doubt. So Imam came in with that, and he came in like a thief in the night. You know, where that he went, and that's like there's so much parallel, you know, in the African American experience, in the Quran and in the Bible. And this history is a parallel history. Like
when you say parallel history, can you explain that a little bit for people that might not understand what that is?
I was getting ready to go there. You know, we know the story of Yusuf in the Quran. You know how his brother sold him into the well out of jealousy. You know, he had vision, he had insight.
Yep.
And obviously inspiration.
He had love. He had love too.
And love, that's right. And so with Yusuf, his brother sold him. He got caught up in Egypt. Yep. Sold in the well, wound up into the house of Egypt, and kind of started controlling some of the money and some of the food. You know, African American, that was our journey. We see that history. They accused Yusuf was accused of women. We are being accused. Yo, keep the black man from that woman of yours. You know, there's all that kind of stuff. And we're also challenged in this society. They challenge that our sexual urge, our sexual drives. You know, so that jihad is that jihad. So that Yusuf that's in all of us, that vision, that inspiration, that goodness, that patience. You know, 'cause he went to jail. Many of us are going to go to jail. We go through dark changes. Malcolm represents that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But then on the other side, but he still wound up in the house of Egypt or the superpower. Pharaoh's house, the superpower. Now on the other side is my brothers. Musa, his mother, she was inspired by Allah. She said, put that boy in, you know, I'm kind of paraphrase, please forgive me, you know. I didn't grow up in the Islamic scholarly structured piece that I could put it down in Islamic. I got to put it in my...
You got a little rough around the edges.
Hey, whatever gets
Ain't no rough, this smooth with a little flavor, all right? A little American flavor to it. I'm sorry, you know. The Quran is real. You got to make it real today.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Y'all could translate it, to give to people that understand it Islamically. You know, but I'm giving you Quran.
Look, you fit right in with the flow.
No, I got you, man. But I'm talking to those outside that's listening. You know? Absolutely. That you take now with Musa, his mother had the vision. You know, send them away, put them in the boat, put them in the plane, send them to Pharaoh's house, let him take care of them. They put love in them. They love y'all, right? Come over here, man. You be engineers, doctors. You get up in the white neighborhoods, the suburbs, and everywhere else. You follow what I'm saying?
And the U.S. is our.
This your Egypt.
It's all our Egypt. We're all in the same house, no matter how we got here.
True.
We're here.
True.
We're servants of Allah.
That's exactly what my family did too. They brought me here for that reason.
Yeah. Yes. So, but now, and then you learn about Musa learned about the structure of Pharaoh, that he could speak his language, you know. But he needed a little help.
That's true.
You know, and now my Musa was a murderer. You know, he did a lot of little things. You know, but a lot of love and faith was still in there. But he was also, you know, was insecure. So he needed his brother Harun. He got Aaron. Yo, Allah, send me some help. Give me my brother Aaron. He could talk a little bit better than me. Okay, so he sent him. So, what is this reality? the African American, and you see this in American history, is that voice. Look at Malcolm. All the Muslim world love Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
That voice.
That voice.
Look at Farrakhan. They love him behind closed door because of his voice. Not what he's saying, it's what how he's saying it.
How he's saying it.
Okay? Look at Imam Muhammad.
Yeah.
They love him not because of how he was saying it, but the wisdom and the hikmah is what he was saying. And he produced a paradigm shift change. They're still trying to catch up.
Yeah.
H. Rap Brown, who was, and more local today, I was sharing with some people, he said, look, another African American, look at Siraj Wahaj. He helped build more masjids after the United States than anybody else. Well, he's an African American brother that Musa wouldn't got. So Allah said what? He made us tribes and nations not to despise one another, but to get to know one another.
Absolutely.
So come learn my history and let me learn your history.
And he's still getting the blessings for all those massages.
So very quickly, can we go, because we talked about it through us, before the podcast, can you just give those numbers very quickly so that everybody else knows?
Oh, man, yeah. Now, see, and then please, to the audience, please forgive me, okay? Now, these guys, man, you're supposed to have this stuff in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
But
so I got to go off the top of my memory.
All right, before you go into that, I think Jabril and I hit on this earlier. The whole point of this episode was to recap the other 2 episodes that we had in regards to Black excellence, Black History Month, and what African Americans have done for Islam in this nation. So everything that you're providing is awesome, especially with these numbers and these figures that you're about to drop right now.
Because it gives a little bit of perspective that this isn't something that just happened over the last 100 years.
Absolutely.
I know we've been very focused on, the specific topic of the Nation of Islam and those links, but it's a small piece of the chain. Because the chain is long, it goes all the way around. So
one link.
This may be one link, but we also want to just know more. We want people to know that the history in America, the Muslim experience, is expansive, and the Black history, the Black Muslim history in America, is just as expansive.
Okay. All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What I want to say is not a Black history. Blackness, we're all black. We got black soul. Blackness is the absence of knowing. We don't know our soul. That color is something that would limit us. Nobody would want to be a black man in America for the abuse that they get. Come on, man. Yeah, if I could run from it, I would, but I can't. I got to change it. Okay, now, Islam, and there's cause and effect. There's so many lessons, man. We have to learn history, have to learn lessons so that we don't make the same mistake twice.
Somebody at the front door.
Yeah, but we're going to do something, man. We just messed up. That's probably the kids. I don't see no head. And then I give out snacks, and they're probably looking for snacks. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The lessons that we can learn in Islamic history in the United States is really a world history. What they say in what happened in 1492 over here in the Western, where they tell you that Columbus sailed the ocean blue. But prior to that, when I was in school, they told me they thought the world was flat.
Yep.
And what I know what happened in 1492 was the fall of Granada, the last Muslim empire in Spain.
Yeah.
And when they got into Granada, they found the maps. Columbus went and got some Muslim brothers that was sailors, the Pinzar family, and helped them sail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Over here, and so it was Muslims that helped guide them come over here.
I had no clue about that.
Yeah, it was a couple of them. The last episode we did. Yeah, we talked about.
Then from there, you had now you got the Spanish Inquisition. Who was the first people, Europeans, import Africans? What's the Portuguese?
Portuguese.
Because they knew about us Muslims, the Moors out of Spain. So once we started losing Spain, then everywhere you see Spanish Empire, the Caribbeans and all that, that was Muslim land.
What is a Moor? Just a quick one.
A Moor is the Muslims that controls Spain. A lot of them was Berbers mixed with West Sub-Saharan Africans from Senegal, Gambia. The Rock of Gibraltar is named after the brother Tariq that went up to conquer. Not only did they go through Spain, but they went all the way up to the lower part of Sicily and France, but they got pushed back quickly. But while they was in France, they taught the Knight Templars. This is where the Knight Templars come in with their knowledge and the spirituality and some of the symbolism. But I don't want to go too far, but we want to keep it, we want to keep it
you guys are welcome.
America. So after they came with Columbus, and before Columbus, the first report of Muslims in America was in the 9th century from this Chinese Muslim.
Wow.
And he's credited with coming to the California region. I haven't been out there to investigate enough to document. You have to document, so I don't. But there's a DVD about it. Mm-hmm. The next reports of Muslims coming to America was in the 1312 and in 1322. Mansour Musa, brother from out of Mali, Abu Bakr, where he brought a couple hundreds of ships. Honolulu, Hawaii, all these are African derivative Islamic names that they put on those islands. There's a report Christopher Columbus seen ruins in Panama and Cuba. You could go into Puerto Rico today. There's a fort that I know in the English terminology, they call it the Fort of the Moors. In Puerto Rico, they call it a little slanted a little bit more, but still say Moor. On that wall that's facing the ocean, there's Arabic script written on it. Mm-hmm. If you go downtown at Old San Juan, there's a restaurant that has Arabic script written on it. And I just most recently saw some movie, one of those reality shows where somebody was getting married somewhere, and it was in Puerto Rico, but it was in one of those houses. You could see the Moorish design with the water, where you got to make voodoo. And if you go to, a lot of these Caribbean islands, you'll see the Islamic arch. But what happened is after, once I said, once the Muslims lost these places, the Spaniards started coming and conquering them. But then after the Spaniards came, the Dutch came, started taking some of the Spanish land. But so when you look in Puerto Rico, Aruba is an Islamic name. And when you come in, if you come in there on the port, you see a place that look like a masjid. You see water, but it's a hotel and it's different stores. But you can still see the Islamic architect that still remains there. So now when you come up, the other personalities that came from the Spanish Inquisition in America. One is a brother that he's credited with being an African American brother. In American history, he's known as Estebanico, and in some works it's called Little Stephen in J.A. Rogers' work, or Negro Stephen. And then in other Muslim books they may call him Mustafa. He came over here with the Spaniards. He's landed in Florida. He's credited with discovering Arizona and New Mexico. Wow. There's records that still date and they trace that. There's no doubt. Then you got another group of people that was part of the Spanish Inquisition. Some was enslaved with them, some fled them. They were known as your Melungeons. They wound up living in the Appalachian Mountains of Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia. Some American personalities that we know about as being Melungeons. Abraham Lincoln's mother was a Melungeon. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. Elvis Presley's mother was a Melungeon. Wow. These Melungeons still exist today, just like some African Americans got sickle cell, but there's a genetic trait that they got that they could trace themselves back to Portugal, Spain, Morocco, North Africa.
So going back to where we're talking about the Moors and Spanish Inquisition, right? So a lot of you're saying that the Moors came over here before the Spanish Inquisition, before the conquest.
Yes, came. Yes.
Okay, so that's a big reason why a lot of the Caribbean is predominantly black, and they were already black before they came here. So from
Latinos.
You just heard a lot of feelings.
Yeah,
right now.
And I bring this up because it was always believed that through the African slave trade, they were brought there and they were dropped off. Not that they came. So these stories are very important because they tell a whole nother side that we did not know about.
Or taught.
Yeah. Oh, they're not gonna teach you, man.
No, they're not.
That's what Malcolm represents. He let you know. Elijah Muhammad let you know, man. They're not gonna teach us that.
And so I've gotten this question before. Why do you guys need Black History Month? Not only do we need to learn the history, but this history and these examples empower us to show us that we aren't just slaves. We were sailors. Yeah. We were explorers.
We lived in the mountains.
We lived in West Virginia.
Yeah, man. Look, please.
This is our history.
And in the plains, man.
And in the plains. We were the first cowboys.
Look. Now, some of the African Americans were the first cowboys of it. That's why they call them cowboys. But, the Muslims of the Eastern world, they were not cowboys in America. They was camel boys. Looks like you see that commercial, man. But see, y'all skipping the gun, man.
Yeah, we can't jump the gun.
Let's back up that. I'm sorry.
I ain't even getting out of 1700s, man. Right, but we're right here. But let's go into this, man. Because y'all little young boys. What's that commercial, man?
Which one?
The camo commercial. What is it? Hump Freeze Day.
Oh, Mike.
Yes, but now,
I'm dead.
yeah.
What?
But you know what? There's a couple things, you know. Any wild camels in America come from the Muslim world. And back in the 1800s, the government brought in 75 camels, hired these 3 Muslim brothers to take them out west. The cowboy pictures going out west that tells the story.
Who else would know how to handle camels? You know.
There you
Exactly.
go.
They had to
And
bring
then,
them
and then they chose them like from Syria, Lebanon. You know, I didn't know there's so many types of camels.
Yeah,
you know?
there is, yeah.
So they brought these different types, man. But they demolished, they stopped it. So they set some of them free. But one of the most famous personality out of that camel herder group was this guy named Hajj Ali. They nicknamed him Hajj Ali. When he died in the 1800s or 1900s, they put a pyramid on his tombstone and put a camel on top of it.
I've actually seen that before.
Yeah, another famous one was
He had
August
the
Muhammad.
finger up, right? The one finger up.
Yeah, dropping the gun, man. That's these Pepsi generation, man. I'm sorry, man. I walk with a cane. I gotta go back. I gotta cross the street.
Let's take it slow, Mo.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you about that, Mo. I'm old school dude. I'm sorry, man. I look young, but look, I'm old school dude.
It's
man.
Muhammad.
It's Muhammad. That's right. Muhammad Ali fought too many people, knocking people out. What's my name? How dare they come with this Mo? Boy, look, Muslims stand up. Don't go for that.
So look, for people
So
who
let's
are
go back to
trying to, for
17.
people, just really quick, for the people who are trying to figure out what we're talking about, we had a full podcast conversation about like nicknames and how we shouldn't use those, and how the people before us fought way too hard for us to be calling ourselves Mo and Brill. So my name is Jabril Abdul-Salam.
Yes, it's Muhammad Hassan. We got it.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Me.
Here we go. All right. So now let's go back.
Let's get
So
it.
now these brothers. So now here's these lessons. That in Spain, when we first had Spain, all of Spain we had, man, we brought the citrus fruits, limes, and lemons, and all this stuff, you know. And we want to romanticize about the our golden age of the Moors. Take the lessons.
Yeah.
Learn. Allah said travel throughout the earth. See what's before you. You could travel through Sheikh Google, or you could travel through a book, and you see that how we lost Spain became divided. Nation state here, nation state there, Toledo, Seville, and then we wouldn't help each other. And then Granada finally fell. Then we became persecuted. Then it started coming down into West Africa. And then we want to start fighting against each other. Oh man, your pants ain't long enough, or your beard ain't this. Shaitan seeks to divide and conquer. Allah says, you know, he's one. He made us diverse. Live and let live. No compulsion in religion. That's why we like America and his old corrupt ways. It allows us our freedom to think. It allows us to live and let live. All Muslims, man, and in the Western world, in many parts, to say. Now, the last group of people that came to that Moorish Inquisition period are the Moors of Delaware. They married amongst the Navajo Indians. You can find newspaper articles dating back 1892, 1922, 1977. About these Moors living in Delaware, and they married amongst the Navajo Indians. Some of them wound up living in New Jersey. Then you got the first Hafiz. And I know many of your audience people heard watched that movie, Black Panther.
Yeah.
But many times we ain't pay no attention, man. You heard Djalo.
Djalo.
Come on, man. That's a family of scholars. He's the first Hafiz in the United States. His name was Job ibn Djalo.
Wow.
In 1730. He wrote the Quran down 3 times from memory. Now, with this Djalo thing, you got type of Europeans controlling us. You got, if it's the French, early French would be DG or DJ, ALLON. Okay? Now, that's the French control. Then you got JALON. That's the English control. Then JALOW. You know, they know the difference, but they're all one family. There's like Robinsons and everything. Or the Kennedys family American politician. Well, the Djalos are the scholars. And it was Fulanis. That was another word you heard in the movie, Fulani. These kittens, Muslim Fulani scholars, they still exist today.
That's insane.
There's an article, a precursor to GQ magazine that was done in 1750, talking about Job ibn Djalo being a Fulani. They brought some Fulanis in Philadelphia. This dude was trying to sell them. They said, man, don't you know these are Fulanis? Don't you remember Job? You can't break these people. Because for hundreds and hundreds of years, they was Muslims. And their genes were the belief in Allah and the relationship with God. So, and then there's stories within these stories. Now, Job got, he knew better. He sold 2 slaves. Okay? And so then he went, stopped at a place to rest, took off his little weapons, and he got captured. When I said, you gonna sell these people, huh? He captured them, put them on the slave ship, and he started making Toba. They saw him praying, Ya Allah, what the, Ya Allah,
Yeah.
But he obviously had a good heart, because Allah saved him.
Yeah.
Allah saved him. He was only enslaved for 3 years. In America, called him the fortunate slave.
Wow.
From 1730 to 1733. Then he went to England. That's where he wrote the Quran down 3 times from memory. Then he cut a deal. Because the only, remember, I talked earlier, the Portuguese was only coming down the coast.
Yep.
They wasn't getting in the interior.
Mm-hmm.
Joe cut a deal, man. Let me free, man. I'll show you how to get inside.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll show you the interior.
Finesse.
So he that got him into the interior, but then he escaped. But he let him in. He let him in, but he got home, That's the part of the story of Job Ibn Dijallo. And that's in the 1730s in Annapolis, Maryland. Then you have the next personality come in the 1700s. The next event you find in the 1700s is that Muslims are what they call pirates. These sailors. Really, I don't know the Arabic word for pirate or sailor. That's where the word pirate comes from. Okay, and these sailors. And matter of fact, they went all the way up to Ireland, man. The reports, in America, the census records in the United States of America in 1850, there's one guy named Henry Allah coming from Ireland. Another one named Kate Islam coming from Ireland. I got about 7 censuses like that. Of course, I go running to Sheikh Google. Sheikh Google, Muslims in Ireland. It says 1959. I said, it can't be, man.
Dang.
I see these censuses, 1850, 1870. And then I said, go, Muslim, I say Moors. Now it comes up, Muslim Moors conquered the southern parts of Ireland back in the 1600s, 1700s.
Dang.
So now I'm wondering about this old dude, this old tool. These are doulas, old tool. What's this?
Yeah.
There's that similarity because you see the name. That's when you study the history of it.
So for you, when you're looking at different peoples that have gone throughout history, and you look at their names, you can tell a lot about their name just by the spelling of it, where they're from, what region they could be from, just by the name.
Yeah. One example like that, you got Bilal in America, man. You got Bilali, and now I think there's a Bello, Bali. And then you got Belalski.
Belalski.
Yeah, there's a tombstone up in Maine with the name Bilal Kareem. I don't know the whole name, but his last name is Belalski.
Wow.
So where did that come from? Where he come from? What region?
You tell me.
You tell me. You brought it up. I said Belalski.
Belalski.
SK.
Yugoslavia,
Eastern
Caucasus.
Europe.
A cold area.
Okay.
Cold area.
Cold area.
The Tartars, the Muslim Tartars. Okay? Now you're going to go with names, in America. You see some names, man. Lambie J. Lambie Kimby. Lambie Kimby was the brother that Omar ibn Said wrote a letter to that people became aware that Omar ibn Said existed. Learned that Lambie really means El-Amin. And they named their first son El-Lambie. And so you'll see that they'll take the Aleph and the El-Amin off.
El-Amin of the truthful.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. The second son, name is Sambo. Or Samba. Depending on the region. Could be Ba or Boo, but it's all the same. They named their second son Samba. Means the warrior spirit. If you got children or siblings, man, or if you are the sibling, you're that second child, you want to compete with the oldest and dominate the ones younger than you. So they identify that as a Samba spirit.
Oh.
This is why you see, if you look in American census, so many Sambos. Job Ibn Dijallo had a partner named Sambo. The Prince of Munslave, Abdul Rahman, out of Natchez, Mississippi, had a partner named Samba with him. There's so many around. So that was it on the names, man. I want to go back to the 1700s, man, so we get out of here. The law of the land in America, one of the things you hear today, man, one of the biggest lies besides Santa Claus and Easter, is that they tell us that America is built upon the Judeo-Christian values. And that's a lie. America was not built upon the Judeo-Christian values.
What values?
I was a Christian. I am a Christian. I believe in that Christ consciousness. I believe in thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not cheat, thou shalt not put no engraven image of me. These are the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Ooh, over the heart. I believe in that. One God.
Allah wrote that book. You know,
You know what I'm
all
saying?
books-
That's far. That's
So
far for us to
they,
believe
so
in
they
books.
stole from us our land and my heritage, my name and my identity, my culture. They killed me. They robbed me. That's not Christian values. No, sir.
What value do
That
you
was-
believe?
They believed in the freedom from religion. They wanted to free from that persecution they was in.
Yeah.
They wanted to free to practice what they wanted to practice. That Iblis. And they wanted to be free to not practice religion. That's what America. You can free to do, free to don't.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, and then it was built, and they said that it was inclusive of all faiths. They used Musliman. They say Muhammadan. That America was not built upon the Christian values, but it was built upon being inclusive. This is where you see some of our founding fathers, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson. They had Qurans.
Yes,
They had
I
a
know that,
relationship with the Muslim world.
Yep.
They engaged. Some of this process that we see within the Constitution are basic Islamic values. Just the human greed, the human ego, the human iblis has taken it out, you know. But the basic value, one vote, and that's your time, you know.
See, it's crazy you say that because what we learned in our history books is that when the colonizers came, they taught everybody Christianity, and that was it. You know, they didn't say like some people kept the religion, some people were free things. Like no, they came and they conquered, and everybody became Christians, and that's what we believe.
Yeah, no, we had to go undercover.
It was also interesting about that. You saying that these presidents, they had the Qurans. When you're in school, you think, oh, they just sat in a room and thought really hard and came up with this stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what you would think,
But these are highly educated individuals.
Those are scholars. Of
They
America.
know
They're
their
scholars.
history.
They are the
Right,
American
and they
scholars.
explore, and you gotta understand, Morocco was the empire at that time. It controlled the Mediterranean. It controlled the flow of the juice, controlled the money.
They had the juice.
There you go. And it's like the wars, the peace treaty. That's why they wanted to have peace treaty. The letter from the Sultan of Morocco, well, really, if it was George Washington wrote him first, was, yo, man, cut me a deal, man, help me out. So the whole thing was they were first paying like $80,000. You know, they had to pay to go use it.
So it's always been an influence.
Yeah.
It's always been.
So they got tired of paying. That's how the wars came. The Barbary Coast Wars came.
that's
I'm
what
tired
you
of paying y'all. Let's bomb these fools. You go look at Robinson Crusoe. The Jefferson. That's why the Navy came about.
Oh.
You know, matter of fact, the first 10 international countries, 5 of them was Muslim countries. Morocco, Tunisia, Algiers, Libya, and Muscat. Morocco achieved that goal for them. Okay?
Wow.
That sword that the Marines, you see that commercial, they promote that sword, that saber, that mighty good man, they put that sword.
I'm talking about,
That saber, they got that when they conquered Algiers. The Bay of Algiers gave them a sword. They've been carrying that ever since.
Wow.
That's why you got the song, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. And there's 2 Tripolis.
So the
In
U.S.
the Levant and in North Africa.
U.S. is not original to anything other than mayonnaise.
Man, there's nothing new under the sun.
I'm pretty sure
Allahu Akbar.
mayonnaise came from the Ivory Coast. Don't get twisted, man.
Yeah. All right, don't slip with that, Mosi. That's what you talk about, that mayonnaise. You
Oh,
get slippy. All
Muhammad,
right,
Muhammad.
see, come on, man.
Shame
Come
on
on with
you.
the flavor, man. See, that's why
Muhammad.
y'all need them old dudes around.
Yeah, you gotta keep us in our place, man.
You know, but we got to allow them to be free. Okay, now, so, based upon that law in 1685, it stated that if you was a Moor or a Turk, okay, that's a Moor of West Africa, North Africa, Spain, that Muslim end. And if you was a Turk in Iraq, Iran, Turkey, that end. As long as your country had a relationship with the King of England, you got the right to be free. You can't own slaves, but you got the right to be free.
Yeah.
So in 1753, there was 2 Muslims that came from Asali, Morocco. That fought in one of the Barbary Coast Wars. They agreed to come over here and work as indentured servants for 7 years, but they got sold to another dude named LaRouche. Worked them for another 8 years, so they petitioned the government, all in Arabic, in 1753.
Oh.
But if you look at history through that Spanish Inquisition,
Yeah.
that Charleston, South Carolina, you're gonna find like Goings people. There's another group of people that are somewhat of the Gullah that they look as Gullah, but they're more out of that Melungeon era. They're called the Goan people. There's the Ben Helly family. You'll see a lot of Muslims that came to the Barbary Coast Wars, as well as Jews. One of the first synagogues is in that area. So it was a Jewish woman that did the translation of their Arabic. Wow. And they was able to win their freedom. Then in 1790, there was a group of 10 of them, 5 males and 5 females. They petitioned the government for their freedom, and they won. It became known as the Moor Sun-Dry Act. Sun-dry is your light skin, your melon is dry.
Sun-dry.
So you're a little light. You know, you're not a mulatto, but, so they couldn't put the finger on it. So that's why it says Moor Sun-Dry Act. And because of that law, come up with, jump quick up and then come back.
Okay.
You had the Moorish Science Temple.
Yes.
And the Noble Drew Ali saying they were Moorish Americans.
I think it was like the MST or something like that.
1912, around that, 1913 and 20. He came with the idea that we're Moors. He tied us to that culture and that the law of the land. Where that the Moorish community of the 20s and the 30s, that wasn't treated like the regular Negroes at the time. They was not subjected to Jim Crow laws because these people thought they was different.
They were different, yeah.
They dressed like Muslims, they thought it was different. So they still utilized more the culture aspect than the Islamic component of Islam. Mm-hmm. Also, he started out in New Jersey area, but he moved it to Chicago, Detroit area. Because he said the people was more receptive to Islam. The people that joined Noble Drew Ali early on that was known as the Ben Ishmael people. This Ben Ishmael people was another group of like the Melungeons. Mm-hmm. But this Ben Ishmael group of people lived in like the plains. This is where you hear about the story in America about the plains, all that. That's talking about the Muslims living in the plains. Wow. And they talk about something a little bit different. And you see there's little towns that they left behind. Like there's a Muhammad, Illinois, that they established. Matter of fact, and there's a Mecca, Indiana. Now, I'm not sure if it's Muhammad, Illinois or Mecca, Indiana. Which one that I remember reading with the Georgia or the Government Writers Project where they went and interviewed different people. Back in the 1800s, man, and they talk about the Sharia. What about the Sharia? Nah, man. The Sharia was in America, man, in the 1800s in a town called Muhammad or Medina, one of these two towns. The law of the land stated that if they caught you with alcohol on it, you lose your land.
What?
You cannot sell alcohol. You cannot have no alcohol. Yeah, it's either in Muhammad or in Mecca, and it's documented. Where the government went around and interviewed them.
They started prohibition early.
Yeah. So in the 1800s, so don't worry about the Sharia. To me, man, is nothing but like the 10 Commandments. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't go look at how these people react and respond, man. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie. Come on, do the right thing. That's all it is.
Simple. It's so simple.
Keep it simple, man. I know this KISS thing when I went to school, but I don't want to go there. So now we're going back to, we did the 1700s, we did, now a personality. There's 3 types of Western people that control the Muslims in the Western world. The Spaniards, Dutch, the English, the British, whatever you want to call them, and the French. Okay. There's 3 types of Muslim personalities that you find in American history. Okay. You're either gonna find them as scholars, entrepreneurs, or leaders. I talked about the first scholar in America was Job ibn Jala, out of Black Panther, 1730. The next one is an American history, African American history book, is a guy named Venture Smith.
Venture Smith, okay.
He's out of Connecticut. He said he came here at the age of 8. He told them, now they spelt it in their, I don't know, baby Bakir, Bukir, Toro. Mm-hmm. But it's Futujala, Fututoro. His name was Bakir Toro. He told me he came from the Dubaka River area. You look on the map today, Dubaka River area is in Guinea.
Wow.
Okay, and it's really that Dubakar, once again, that West African, he's going to take it off. It's really Abu Bakr. Yeah. That in that area. And that river still exists. And he said he came here at the age of 8. In the late 1700s when he died, he owned 100 acres of land. He brought his wife's freedom, his son's freedom, and when they buried him, he had a tombstone on it. In the American history book, they call him Venture Smith, but he clearly told him who he was. So he was an entrepreneur. You know, you can see that.
Wow.
It's funny because I learned about him a long time ago, but the name is just different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Victor Smith, and they spell it. I think Brokeer. You know, but you got to know your history. You know, just to get the similarity. Just like right now, I am on this. Oh my God, I'm on a mission. Ya Allah. I just was doing some research by Africans that was living in America, in Virginia, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Okay.
And so it came up. There was Africans living in Virginia, South Carolina, and Georgia as free people in 1850, 1860s, 1870s. Of course, 1880s were free, but I was looking at these, you know. And then it made me want to go look at, my father come from the Gullah Islands, where Amir Muhammad and Salih Bilali come from. St. Simon and Sapa Island. These are Muslim personalities out of the 1800s. These are Muslim personalities that were leaders, okay? And even for generations, while the children was enslaved, they gave them Islamic names. And American history known as the Gullah people, those Gullah people,
Gullah Island.
Geechee, Gullah Island. They saw it played it on TV, but they took out the Allah. They say Gullah. You know, make you think something else. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I love that show and never had a clue.
Yeah, those Gullah people, those people that believe in Allah. There's movies about them. Jim Brown come from out of that area. Cicely Tyson come from out of there. Can't think. Robert Abbott come from there. He's the guy that developed the Chicago Defender newspaper.
Okay.
Bilali Muhammad, the first Muslim leader. There's a movie they had done, Daughters of the Dust. Toni Morrison, famous African American writer, she writes about them in Songs of Solomon, Tar Baby. And up north, they will call you Geechee if you ate a lot of rice. You know, Muslims eat rice, so I guess we Geechee around the world.
Yeah.
You know, African American, you know, they call you Geechee, you know. Those Gullah people, because there was rice people. They developed the rice for them. So there was 36 of them living right there. And so now I'm looking at the names, you know, and then what I found unique, man, they start telling you where they came from.
Yeah.
In the 1850, 1860, they say where they came from. Senegal, Gambia, Central Africa, there's one Kenya, there was one Egyptian. I'm amazed. Now in 1870 they say Africa, but prior to that they tell you where. But then I started looking at where my father, the town that he came from. I narrowed my search down just the way the town he come from. So there's 36 people from Africa. I said, man, this must be a village that they brought in. You follow what I'm saying? Because they're all around the same age. Yeah. All right. But now this dude that I look at, his name is Bula Governor. I said, is this guy trying to tell me I was the governor of Bula? So now I go looking, man. You know, I seen Guinea. Yeah. So now I'm running, check Google, man. Show me a whole map of Guinea. Yeah. So I'm looking on Guinea, man. I look up. No, is it Guinea or Senegal? I think it's Senegal. I'm not sure. I think it might be Senegal. But anyway, I go Google, man. And I go way up. Yeah. North, there's a town called Bula.
Wow.
So that's what I say. Wow, man. Yeah. You know. So these are little things that takes time to connect. And for me, the Quran teaches, man, what? Kinship, tribes, relationship. You know, the Bible teaches genealogy. You know, history. Even from Quran, man. But Ibn what? My name is Amir Muhammad, Ibn West, Ibn Bella, Ibn Richardson, Ibn Higginbottom. You know, I got to go back. I have all these different names. You know, something is Ibn, you know, so and so. You know, but this is what I had to connect. But it's like putting Humpty Dumpty back together. It's putting the pieces back together.
Yep.
You know, and then it's also connecting. You know, like the woman that I found that came from Africa in the 1870s. That she had married a white indentured servant named John Higginbottom. So I can't hate white folks, man. I got a little bit of that. You know, I got to be balanced now.
So what has this search done for you? I know that was probably a main force for you to make this museum, right? To make this possible. But what has it done for you spiritually and just personally?
Good question.
I hear you, man, but inshallah, man,
we'll have a part two.
Part two. And the part two I would like, and I just came to this. I was at a program yesterday. They asked me about my life and everything, and I shared it with them. But then, they were spiritual, okay? But then it realized that, what they didn't ask, the question you asked. What was it like for me spiritually? What was my spiritual journey? Yeah. What books did I read? Yeah. How did I apply? Yeah. So those type of questions will work because everything I do is spiritual. When with the Nation Islam, I'm just going to give a piece of it. Yeah. We're taught to honor the womb that bore you. Okay, that's your parents. Yeah. My father was very stern, but very logical, very structured. After I, forgave him and looked at for the beauty of him, I see that, okay, and I see it within me. My mother was very soft, gentle. My father roared like a bear, but she could calm him down. Never heard him fuss, never heard him cuss. She said, "All right, Wes, calm down, calm down." She had that silence was golden, and then I could always hear her singing this song. This little heart of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let my goodness shine. Yeah. I'm gonna bring out my goodness, And in that house, man, I was never in. Some houses, man, they had Jesus, Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, and we had no image. My mother believed in no engraven image. They kept to that. Ten Commandment. They kept it. There ain't no Jesus. We didn't have no Jesus stuff in our house like that. It was faith in God, relationship with God. But when I got out into the world, or the society changed, a lot of brothers, single family brothers and other brothers, man, they wasn't about God, okay? And I wasn't about the church no more. So I drifted in darkness for a minute. And within that drift, though, God's hand is always there. Then in 72, the drift got a little heavier, that you needed help from your Lord. I needed help from my Lord. I need to change. I need to make a change in my life. And Malcolm represented, reading his book. Absolutely. Plus, the Chicano Revolution by Jerry Rubin. Okay. These was books that, man, okay, I can make a change. Man. Yeah. And I worked towards making that change. And I searched different faiths out in my journey.
And how old were you at that time?
In 1972, 73, 1974, I was 20.
Okay. At a young age, you were 30.
So 18.
Yeah.
18, 19, okay. I decided to make a change. There was factors that, stimulated. I lost out of darkness comes light. So I need some light. Good God. And then I was also raised morally,
Yeah. You don't lose that.
You don't. Like I was, I was a sinner, man. May Allah have mercy on me, man. I had a child out of what we call wedlock. And I can remember, man, getting a phone call. I'm home. I'm looking straight at my mother. She's cooking. I get a phone call telling me I'm a daddy. I look at my mother, man. I'm a daddy. How the hell? I mean, how am I gonna be a daddy? I'm still in my mama's breast. She's still feeding me. I'm still in my daddy's house. And it was immoral having children out of wedlock. I was raised that way. Yeah. But the only thing that kept me not beat myself up morally, spiritually, my older brother, my mother's favorite child, already had a son. So I got a little cover, But then the second time, my second son came, oh Lord, I got to stand up. I had a father home, man. He taught me better. Yeah. And then now I'm in the nation, and I didn't get put out because I was still on form. They don't put you out there and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I thank God I was just on form, But I had to get married, so I got married and started engaging. Now, that was 74. In my joining the nation, I got I was blessed that a brother was a treasurer. He gave me a lot of the information. You used to have to get lessons one at a time. I got 10, 12 of them. Who's the original man? Who's the age?
I got the keys to this.
Yeah. I got the keys, man. I'm thinking, good God, Yeah. So I started with that. But then 74, 75, Imam Muhammad came in. Imam Muhammad came in. Now, I didn't agree with a lot of the stuff that I heard. I grew up in Connecticut, man. Multicultural, man. I dealt with French people, Scandinavians, Puerto Ricans, Spanish. Everybody was different, but us. We're the only thing that was black was all black, But everybody else had the culture, and we engaged that. I was used to engaging people as human beings, so all this, white man.
It should be. Yeah.
Some of them are, yeah, but that was innate. But there was something there that kept me, and what kept me there was I grew up with brothers. They went all the way, you know, and sometimes I was. Did I tell you about that Samo spirit?
Yeah.
I wasn't that second child. I was that, but I had that Samo spirit. You know, man, please. I thought junk, and I could throw down a little bit, but you know, it might take 10 hits of mine to feel you feel 2. Okay, you know, I didn't have that power, but I'm throwing. You know, you ain't gonna get me like that. You know, so and then if I needed help, I had brothers that had my back. You know, oh man. So, but then when they all went away to college, man, it was only summertime when they came home. I felt safe again. I could go back talk junk. You know, there were a few people I could beat on my back. I had put enough fear
3 months
that
out
you
of
know.
the year.
And I put enough fear that you know I could bark a little bit, keep them off me. You know? But summertime comes, I could relax. So I joined the nation because they had that brotherhood. But you know, Allah will tell you, man, you know, you gotta depend on Him. And I remember there was a brother when I joined him, he was a big dude, dark skinned dude. Behind him, something go down, man. You know, big dude. We used to march, man. You know, knocking down the walls. Muhammad got the devil on the front and the right. We believe in Allah. We're fighting for Islam. You know, this is stuff I grew up. Yeah. Now I'm a sponge. I'm a kid. I'm a sponge. Taking all that, man. I'm internalizing it. You know. Now I can see these big dudes. Come on. So, but one time something did happen at the temple, and there was about 3 of us. And I happened to be in the middle of it, you know. One brother, you know, you got knuckleheads and everything, emotional guys and everything. Now these guys were taught that there was God. You know, I'm God. You better come to the temple. Man, I lost no compulsion, man. So this dude rejected it. And it might have been a setup, man, because it seemed like he had an argument. Cops came within 2 minutes. So we broke it up and went towards the temple. Within about 10, 12 cops came. You know, and the brother's still acting like a fool. So, you know, I'm trying to keep him calm. But I'm looking at the cops just like I'm looking at you, man. Yeah, you know, I know that cop saw me. Yeah. But this brother that thought that I could be behind, you know, when it all went down, he ran inside the temple. Talking about the devil's coming, the devil ain't coming, the devil's here, come on outside and help us. You know, but then it taught me, only rely on the law. You know, rely on nobody, don't go for the yourself. You know, so, but then the Imam came in. Imam Muhammad came in with a different language, metaphysics, spirituality. He came in, broke down the Nation of Islam. We believe the Nation of Islam was real, was solid like this table. You know, we had trucks, we had planes, we had schools, we had houses, farmland. I was feeding my family. I had a job, you know, feeding my family. Yeah. But the Imam came in and broke down the mythology of Yaqub, the falsehood that we created. And so then we saw the illusion just crumble. You know, Allah said this world life is nothing but illusion. So now this is what I call dear to me, what I'm holding on, feeding me, I'm in something real. Yeah. Was an illusion. So then right after that, to help validate that, came the fall of the Iranian Revolution. That came. So you saw the crumble of that society. Coming the rise of Islam. 76, 77, y'all see it? Then after that, I saw the fall of the Russian Empire. Great second superpower. Just crumble. Yeah. It's no longer, y'all might not even know about the Soviet Empire. You know, we used to have to go to fallout shelters, you know, as a kid, to train, man, bomb coming, you know, black and yellow signs. It no longer exists. Putin trying to bring it back with the help of Trump. You know, but you know, Allah have mercy, man. Forgive me. That you saw the crumbling of it. You see the fall of America, and the moral values and the principles. You know, accepting a bald-faced lie. They want us to go for it.
Man, that's just insane. Everything that you just said right now. But I want to go back to the 1800s because I guess that's
I know. We said very good. We turned that page. I had left, man. When I left the color people, I went off a little bit. Very good.
But it's very interesting to get a better understanding of who you are.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you are, in essence, the life of this museum. So it's important to be able to get a piece of it as well.
I told you, man. I'm coming to you, man. You asked me spiritually, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, okay. You know, that was a great question. So you're gonna get a great response.
Absolutely.
On the spiritual tip, the two beginning, prayer builds. Okay, first prayer I learned was, Our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. God's kingdom come here on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven is a good consciousness, you know, Eden. Okay, we want to bring out peace. We want to bring out the best on earth.
Yeah.
Thy will be done. God will be done. What is a Muslim? A righteous servant. One who surrenders his will to God. Now I come into the nation of Islam. My prayer comes, surely I turn myself to thee, O Lord, trying to be upright. To him who originated the heavens and the earth. I am not the polytheist. Surely my prayers, my sacrifice, my life, my death are all for thee, O Lord. So now I'm in the nation. I'm working Wednesdays. I'm working Fridays. I'm working Saturdays. FOI class, Sundays. My life and my journey is all for thee, O Lord. So now I'm conditioned. I'm getting paid. You know, back and forth, you know. Then the Imam comes in, take us. One of the first books he told us to read was Subliminal Seduction by Brian Wilson Key. This book breaks down how they use images to talk to your subconscious mind to make you respond. This is where the commercials come in at, and these images. And they got better at it, you know. So he wanted us to look at that first. Then he started breaking down language. Give me spiritual language. So, and helping you to understand and purify your heart. Like when I told you we had to change our Qibla.
Yeah.
Some people may read Ibn al-Arabi and other scholars where they say that you have to die so you can live. You know, merge, change, get rid of the greed, get rid of the lust, get rid of the drive, in order to live. So the Imam taught that in a very rational way. When after the Nation of Islam, and this realized it today, and I don't know what the group that we called ourselves, but there was a group that we thought we were spiritualists. We took on prophetic names. This brother, and today made me really reflect that. I think that's when I came initiated into being able to perceive people's auras, people's energy.
Yeah.
This brother identified about 5 or 6 of us. One brother was given the name Dawood because his heart is kindness. He saw the Dawood spirit in him. One had the name Musa. One had the name Harun. And you know, this Harun I could see in. One had the name Lut. I could see the Lut in.
Yeah.
I had the name Noah. He gave me the name Noah because he thought I had a building skill set that I could build, like Noah built the ark.
Give you a little history lesson on it.
Yeah, you know. But then for me, Allah said there's dualism. I got 2 eyes, so so there's positive, negative. So now I look at the physical, but now I'm looking at the spiritual. Okay, that's the ark. But now what's the ark is a play on the word heart. So we have to build our heart right. Bring dualistic, our experience, our life experience, our educational experience. These are the doors that you learn from. You know, Prophet Muhammad the first revelation was, read.
Yeah.
Right? And he said, I can't. And I said, read. You know, I can't. I said, read. And it got silent. He started reading. Reading what? His life experience. His experience that he had. Once you ponder and reflect, you see Allah's hand in there. You hear that story about footprints? You ever read that story about the poem of footprints? What? You know, it's a postcard, a card, and everything. You see feet in the sand, okay? And he said that Allah, and he said, he don't say Allah, he said, God, I see when I was walking and had good times, I saw 2 sets of feet. And then when I was in trouble, I only saw 1 set of footprint. Where you at, Lord? Where you at, man? Come on. He said, you fool. I was carrying you. Damn. You follow what I'm saying? So Allah's there. Always there. Allah says, out of darkness comes light.
Wow.
Out of our darkest experience, find the light. Find Allah in it. My father made me get out into the street. My father was unjust to me. I perceived. I didn't realize I loved him so much. And I used to watch this movie called Fathers Know Best. Father Know Best was a dude that was a doctor in his office right on the outside of the kitchen.
Yeah.
So he's always home. My father used to come home, man, boy, get out that TV, man. That's that fantasy stuff. That ain't real. Okay? But it was what I needed. I needed you to give me some time. You know, I was not a sport player. I was, recognize me for me. But I had a sister who came right after me. And man, get weak for the daughters. The daughters, man, make it weak.
Special place.
Man, tell me, man. But it took me 20 years to learn after I had 2 daughters. You know, and I was weak. You know, I would come home and one of my daughters would be up top of the steps, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. Man, I gotta get home on time, man. You know, make you weak. So I told my home one day, I said, Daddy, you know you did me wrong, man. You wasn't right, man. You treated Merlin better than me. You wasn't just to me. You want to deny it. He started so I could see. Oh, look, man, let me tell you something. I know what them girls do. I got 2 of them. So you couldn't deny the truth. They make you weak. I forgive you. I didn't like it, but I forgive you. But because of that forgiving, dying so I can live, loving, my father, I felt it was unjust. Okay? But I was a kid that, my friends would come get me for justice, for fight. I always went for the underdog. I always seek justice. So when I joined the Nation of Islam, what they want? Freedom, justice, and equality. Yep. We want that today.
Yes, exactly.
Freedom, justice, and equality for all. So it fit. So now I go in. Don't think everything is all perfect. Darkness comes light, man.
We know that.
Here I'm in. Me and a partner of mine, man. Loot. Lot and Loot. Noah and Lot, we was both together. Noah and Loot. That's why I changed my name, man. Because I didn't want my son to believe that the government and the mountain and society is better than Allah. That's what happened to Noah. That's why I took to change that name, man. I don't want them. Didn't help, but I didn't want that. Because energy, man, because it's cause and effect, man. I believe in the unseen. I believe in that power. I believe in the power of the word. Just like many people in the audience today, they don't see me. Some do, some don't, but some hear me.
Yeah, they hear you.
And that power of that word.
And they feel
First
you.
it was that word. There you go. First it was that word, and word took on flesh. And so then you have to give it that energy. But under Amir Muhammad leadership, he was a humble, blessed, wise leader, scholar. He just guided you and gave you ideas and let you out in the world and trust that Allah, you will engage in Allah's experience and His creation.
Yeah, you can't just do it out of a book.
No, you can't. You gotta learn. You get some information from the book, but then you gotta apply it. You gotta work. Well, this thing work here, this thing work. I ain't misuse and abuse. I can tell you many times I used to misuse and abuse. I believe in the thought. There was one time I lived in Richmond. Pops and all these. Yeah. Man, if I thought it, it attracted. If I thought it, I attracted it. I had to watch my thoughts. I had to watch and I got witness. I had to watch my thought. If I thought it, it manifests. It happened about 3, 4, Then you get to the point, like I used to love, and I don't say the name right, Ibn Arabi. A lot of these Sufi books, a lot of this Sufi thought. That's what the Imam kind of nurtured us. Like, the first book that kind of like stimulated the spirituality towards us. After his brother taught us to take a look to read auras, because now I can see, so I can recognize. I'm sensing. I'm closer to my innate nature because I'm not. And the reason why that I don't have academics. I didn't go to college at that point, at that time, so I wasn't leaning on that kind of book now. I was leaning on that spiritual inner knowledge.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I worked with that more. And by working with that, it came, man. There was one guy named Bagwan Rashnish. He was a dude, man, bad dude in America, Because you couldn't go wrong, man. You need an anchor, man. But I was up there with Ibn. Please, brother, no man land. You gotta come back down. You gotta make it rain. That's why I like the Imam Muhammad. He brought you back down to reality.
Yes.
Kept
it simple.
Right. Had to go back to the community, man. I had to anchor myself in prayer. Prayer was the anchor. Cause you get too spiritual and then you think you're God. You think you could be in communication with God all the time.
What's funny? I was telling Jabil a story yesterday. My mom tells me that all the time. Like, she knows when I'm like really heavy on something. So it was one time I was really heavy on Islam, and like she's like, "Yo, just chill, just live your life, keep doing what you're doing, learn, but experience." Because even it happens to us all the time. I came back from Umrah, came back from Saudi Arabia, so I believe like the holiest land in the world, which it is, right? But you can have that holy place wherever. It can be your house, So when I came back, I forgot my reality. I was just like, you know what? I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm on this wave.
Yeah, this is why I came here speaking with an accent.
You know, like I'm flying.
I'm like, come on, man.
And you can, man. And sometimes it's important.
It's important.
You know, you got to come out the cave.
Yes.
That's what sarcophagus is. You know, these stories, we got to come out the cave.
Came out the cave.
You know, like look. Yeah, man, look, I love the Quran.
Yeah.
Boy, that's my, forgive me, I don't want to insult anybody, man, but I love her. You know, I'm calling her that feminine because she feeds you, she nourishes you,
Cares.
you know, and guides you. This is the book in it. It's guidance, sure, without doubt. I don't care what language you speak, Chinese, Japanese, American, English, whatever you read that book in that language.
Yep.
God is not limited.
No.
Don't limit him.
Somebody actually said that. They said that, you know, his name is Brother Omid Saif, right? Mm-hmm. He's a scholar down in Duke, and he's a Sufi, and he was speaking the same language. He said, God gave us language so that we could understand it, not so that God could understand it. God isn't limited to a language, to a gender, to an energy. God is greater than anything we can imagine. So when you know, and because I do come from that same school of thought, the same cultural background and whatnot, you know, I grew up learning that, you know, understand what it is that you're learning. Because I can listen to and we've talked about this, in fact, it was this morning, you know, I don't mind listening to the Arabic, but I want my intellect to understand it as well as my heart.
It's the spiritual side, brother.
That is what's wrong with our Muslim world. We're taught to memorize the Quran, not to apply the Quran.
Exactly.
That's the most important thing. When I used to go to Masjid as a kid, they always compared me to the Hafiz. Not to the guy that actually living it out. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't know the Quran, if you don't memorize it, then you don't know anything.
You're no good. What's interesting is that,
you know, 2 surahs, 2 ayats, man, and
if
work
you
that thing and live it now. Allah gonna manifest.
Exactly.
Our prophet said that, peace and praise be upon him, is like, even if you know just one verse of the Quran, recite it.
Exactly.
You know,
most of the Sahaba only knew a couple of verses throughout the Quran, and so these are the people who are the closest to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. These are the closest. But we look at ourselves that, I only know Ikhlas, I know good.
Look, man, look. All you need to know is Ikhlas. Kula hudahad. Allahu mad. Let me live. You know, look, that's the Christian value, man. Say he is one.
He is one.
There's no God but him. You know what I'm saying? The 10 Commandments, thou should not, I'm one God, I'm a jealous God, thou should not put on graven image. For me, I look for the commonality, the logic. If you look at Ibrahim in the Quran, he had the biggest challenge of trying to appeal to people to be logical, to be rational. You know, with Ibrahim, one of the stories what he talk about on when he challenging his own internal search, his own internal search. He started worshiping stars, basketball, movie stars, singers. Stars. These are people in front of us. They show us a little light in daylight. Ooh, I like to be like that.
Yeah.
That's why you got all these tattoos. What are these stars put on? These people follow them. They're stars worshipers. I could have been one. I love the Temptations. I did. I do. And I will. I still listen to them. 60 years later, it still sound good. But Allah allowed them to die. I can't worship them. They're gone. They're gone. You know, but alhamdulillah. But I like the consistency that they represent. No matter what changes they went through, they was consistent. You know, they lost this one, lost that one, but yet they still kept moving. And
they still perform it today.
Till today. The race is not to the swift nor to the strong, but he that can endure to the end. Patience and perseverance. So now I want to go back to Ibrahim.
Yeah.
So now he's rationalizing himself with these stars, okay? Then he comes up and he, so you see they fall, man. They ain't real, man. You know, they got blotches and blemishes, okay? Then he comes to the moon. This moon reflects our ministers, our imams, our sheikhs, these dudes that are reflecting God's light. Then it comes up to the sun. Some people want to worship God. Some people want to worship, you know, man. Elijah, Farad. Some people do WD. Some people do noble duality. You know, people, they're human beings. Didn't they make these gods out of their own hands? They can't feed them. They can't do nothing for them. That's
Abraham's father. That was Abraham's father.
Right. That was his story to what? His father to the leadership. Government or society. This is what they build upon. Keeping us with this okie doke. That's why they were so able to go with this number 45 concepts of lies. They was told a lie all their life. Christmas, a rabbit laying eggs?
Don't even make sense.
So right now, when it's different times, but still the same thing going on. Because we think when it comes to shirk, we think it's idols, just images, but that can be your job. It can be money.
Yeah,
it could be
right.
sport. Whatever it is that you just overbearing and over,
the dominant. See now, and this is why I like the Jewish tradition and some of their stories, are the lessons that they teach. You see the parallel in it, and that is one of the stories of David and Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
Goliath to them represents those big monsters in us that we got to overcome.
That's internal.
That is the internal jihad, the internal that greed, that lust, whatever it is, ego. Iblis. Take Iblis, Dr. Suleiman Yang. May Allah be pleased with him. One of his biggest things he said, Iblis represents our ego. I'm better than he. What the Iblis story? I'm better than he.
That's the most basic.
You know what I'm saying? And what is a jinn? A spirit. Then you could be in that jinn spirit. Here's one time I know you've been in that jinn spirit. You're enraged, you're mad.
Yes.
That's fire. Isn't a jinn fire?
Jinn's made out of fire. That's absolutely
And
right.
that rage, that spirit is burning in you.
And then you got the good jinn and bad jinn. You can have both. Good fire.
There you go. Yeah. So you got to take the jihad of it. You got control of it. Then you see something you ain't supposed to see. That jinn come up again. Yo, jihad. And you got to be like Yusuf. These are the tools that Allah gives you.
Yeah.
I was sharing people, we're talking about the Surah Kahf. I know I'll come back to Kahf. Okay?
Yes.
There's like 4 stories in the Surah Kahf. Mm-hmm. But you remember, but you ain't, what's the four stories? One of the stories is what? I may Allah forgive me, man. I wasn't prepared, so I didn't consciously think of it. It's coming. So they may not be in order, okay? Mm-hmm. One of the stories is the gardens. The 2 gardens. The dude got 2 gardens. And they going out. The flush. They got the juice, man. They got a Mercedes in the yard. They got this electric car in the yard, So then they come out and he's arrogant. Yo, man, don't feed them people in the hood. Mm-hmm. Don't mess with them African American people. You know what them Europeans told you about them. Don't mess with them. So now, when he comes out, he loses it. It all dries up. Yeah. Why? Because he was arrogant. And the guy told me, then I say, man, inshallah, and be thankful. So we got to be thankful to Allah. So that's one of the stories. Then you come into the children. Yeah. The sleepers, okay? They're in a cave. Mm-hmm. To protect their religion, to protect their faith.
Protect themselves, yep.
Many of us got to go, right. Many of us go in the cave. Because people we're around don't believe what we believe or think what we think. Feel, there's different levels of caves that you come in.
I like that, yeah.
So you got these caves. How you say there wasn't a question. How long you been in that thing, man?
Maybe
Yo,
a day,
bro, maybe half a day. No, fool, you've been longer than that, Jack. Here, take this money down to the hood to go see what it's worth. Okay.
But make sure nobody recognizes you.
There you go. And then, cause then when you come out that cave, because now they was in this cave facing north, facing the right direction, right?
See, okay. To
the east, to the west, they're dogs. Now you got to understand what dog is in the 4 hind legs, but we're not here for that. All right. So, facing the north, facing the right, the direction, they had to come out. Now, these people want to come worship them. Mm-hmm. Now, you got different levels of the Quran. Okay? Some people take that level, that dog, they talk about Christianity.
For the
in
dog?
The Western world. Huh. They love their dogs.
Okay. Oh, snap.
They love their dogs.
Okay.
They
10 seconds. 10 seconds. Camera's about to die.
Alright, cool.
So go ahead, you finish up, and then it might make it.
You sure?
Yeah, it might make it right for it.
The dogs. The Christian world are known for loving their dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, and also building churches and monotheism over people that they worship. Uh-huh. Remember that was one of the conflict. They wanted to build nothing over them. All right. So that's that story, and there's shades within those stories. All right, that's the second one. Then the third story is Musa.
Musa, Al-salaam.
Now Musa is on a righteous journey.
He's looking for the truth.
He's looking for the truth. He think he's found the truth, okay? Yeah. But his homeboy with him. Yo, man, I saw this fish depart. in the waters. They done made me forget but shaitan.
Shaitan, exactly.
Our homies sometimes, man, don't your homies don't be with you and he don't correct you?
Yeah.
Let you slip.
Yeah.
And you going on the right path. But you gotta hold up.
I know he's talking about my homies.
You got to back up.
Yeah.
You thought you was going right, but back up.
Yeah.
Then Moses back up.
They did.
Okay? Then he sat down with, I don't like saying, the wise man, because the Quran don't really address that. It says he sat down with the wise.
With the wise.
No, I don't care what the wise man name is.
Yeah.
Okay? Get in those phases. No, I do, but no. So the wise man told Moses, look, man, you ain't going to have patience because you don't know.
Because you don't know.
How you going to have patience with something you don't know? And I know you don't know.
He said, trust me, I got it, man. I'm patient.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now they go on the journey, man. And then I put a hole in the boat. You gonna scream.
Scuttle the boat.
You gonna scream. Yo, man, I tell you to leave me alone, man. I told you wouldn't have no patience, man. Why you gonna be hard?
Yeah.
Oh man, please forgive me, man. I won't kick it no more.
Yeah.
All right. So now we go a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
Now I kill a dude, little young boy, man. What you do that for, man?
Yeah.
That kid ain't did nothing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Two things the story's telling you: don't be so quick to judge.
Ooh. Dang.
Yeah.
Allah's in charge.
I don't even know what's going
You
on.
know, right? You don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
And have patience. Aren't we supposed to be take 3 days? 70. If I'm mad at you guys, we supposed to take 3 days? Wasn't 3 incidents?
That's good.
Yeah, 3 incidents. What's the third one? They go into town, they get misused and abused. They go, you don't belong here, boy. Get out of this, abuse and abuse them. But he built a wall back. Moses said, man, bad as they treated you, man, we could get paid.
Yeah, let's get this.
Didn't I tell you to set up? This is where we part, man. Now let me break it down to you. That boat, man, the dudes was poor. He needed it. These guys that was greedy, jealous, were going to kill them all, man.
There's going to be a king that was going to
Come
overcome
on,
that.
man.
Yeah.
So I put a little hole in it. Scuttle it a little bit. They can fix that thing. Ain't no big thing.
But now there's the boat.
Right. They still got the
important.
boat.
Yeah.
So now in the next story, that kid was a knucklehead. His parents was righteous. He was going to do stuff that bring him but grief and anger, man.
Yeah.
We'll send you somebody back. That's all trust on Allah.
Yeah.
Now they come to the wall. He said, you see how bad they treat us in that town, man. There was some money in that thing, man. That these people, that wall would kept on, them kids, they would took that money. And these kids needed that money. These orphans needed that money. So I was on a mission for Allah. My goal was for Allah. No matter how you may see it, out of darkness come light. And we see this experience so much. The Quran make reference to that. Don't judge. Be so quick to judge your experience.
Crazy. Reflect
upon it. Look for the good. Even in your sins. Look for what that message is once you come out. Now, the fourth story is the Carter. They don't say prophet. The 2 horns. The leader of the 2 horns. Okay, so there's different debates. Some say Cyrus. Some say I can't think of the 2 horns. No, the last of the Surah Kaf.
Okay.
It's the 2 Quran. The one means 2 horns. And so what they say is that he goes on a journey. Now, it says he traveled to the rising of the sun, right? First, and to the muddy waters. Waters, morals, things are muddy. I'm a little funky here. Okay. So he said, look, man, I'm going to leave these people as they are, Jack.
Yeah.
Those that are good, Allah going to save you. Those that are bad, I'll take care of it, and then Allah will punish you later. Okay, so you get double punished. Yeah. So then he goes to what? To the setting of the sun. And he comes to the setting of the sun, he find these people, and they had nothing to cover them. Okay? Now, some of your Afrocentric people go into the concept that is meaning no melanin in them. Talking about the Europeans and the Caucasus Mountains. And so this is what it comes to pointing out at. There's layers in these stories. Now, then he left them. Then he goes into between the 2 mountains, Magog and Gog. Okay? Magog. And then they asked him first, man, look, man, let me worship you, man. Yo, king, man, do this, man. He said, no, man, don't. Now, evil. This is why I love Imam Muhammad. He didn't want us to worship him. He was a model, not to worship me, man. Come on, man. Y'all decentralized. Y'all think independent. First time he had put the fingers on his temples. Think.
Yeah.
Think.
Yeah.
Free that mind. Be that free man of the city. And this is why he didn't allow us to be captured by no school of thought, no one imam, no one sheikh. We was free to have a relationship with Allah, free to have a relationship with the Quran.
Nobody in between.
Nobody in between.
What's funny is that you see that in specifically the Catholic religion, where you have to talk to a priest.
Yeah.
Got
Got that intercession, man. That's why I couldn't go there. Make you weak. That's why they make you weak.
I mean, but not only that, like people, Jibril and I talk about all the time. People, they discredit you because of your school of thought. They thought because you learned under somebody else that you don't know. But it's like, yo, I read from this book, the same book that you have.
Exactly.
There you go, the crime, man.
So
that's huge.
Yeah. That's why. Look. And man, look. I have told you about the story. The guy asked about the Indians, and that they asked me when did we get the Quran. I was in Canada, and they kept asking me when did we get the Quran. When did we get the Quran? And they didn't get it till 1,000 years later. But we got it within 25 years, and we started applying it. But now what I'm also seeing in the Quran, okay, is that the Quran says that it took usually make emphasis of that it takes 40 years before you come into maturity. You hear this development, okay? Now there's different levels. Allah says 7 levels, 7 heavens, 7. So there's different levels. There's different periods as well. You know, in the nation of Islam, we used to say Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam. That is, man, it is logical. It is rational, and it is applied science.
And common sense.
You cannot read Islam and think it. You have to act out.
You have to do
on it. I have to manifest. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what Muhammad taught us, he said the night of the night journey.
Yep.
He said that is a symbolic of the human being has to grow vertically, innerly, purify his heart, purify his goodness, his character, in order to grow out horizontally.
Oof.
In order to be progressive. If you look at the night journey with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came back, what? Medina. A pure society started developing.
Yep.
And growing. Now, with the Nation of Islam, you saw we had the horizontal. We had the stores. We had the restaurants. We had all this stuff.
I see what you're saying.
But the vertical, the internal was corrupt. So he had to come back like a thief in the night because we allowed too much greed, too much jealousy and envy to gnaw at us. Okay, like Suleiman and his staff. He built this community, but it gnawed away.
You know, sometimes you have to lay the foundation. Like sometimes I see kids or just people, right, have a hard time praying, and they come up to them saying, "Hey, you gotta pray. Why? Because you're going to heaven and everything." Like they don't show the horizontalness and just like, you know why? Because you need to first, before you even pray, you need to love Allah, connect with everything you have inside. Once you get that going and your mind is right, then you can go horizontal. They don't teach.
They don't explain.
That's that vertical. It's all about the horizontal. All about what
this is why we're in America, my brothers, from all around the world. And this is why y'all have this podcast to reach those outside. They may not have that freedom that we have to help stimulate and motivate. We are diplomats to the Muslim world. Yeah. We are in America. I was taught that Amir means prince, leader, and Ka, spirit, body, like Kaaba. There's some Egyptologists believe that the Ka represents the spiritual, the Ba represents the physical, and that the Hajj is that black soul, that the black stone represent, that we have to bring our physical and spiritual self together and manifest it in a society. This is why we have Hajj. And there's values and principles we make tawaf.
Yep.
Counterclockwise. Wind it up. Wind me up.
So when you
Bring that song. There you go. Wind me up. Wow. The earth moves 1,101 miles per hour, right?
Yeah.
But we're standing still. We don't feel it.
Yes.
We don't feel it.
Don't.
It's moving. That's gravity. That's thought. Out in the waves that they're out there. We don't know how many thousands of people hearing us. And the energy. Some may be shouting. If there's any Nation of Islam guys out there, they're saying, "Woo, teach, brother. Go ahead, make it plain." If there's any Christians out there, they're saying, "Hallelujah. Let me hear you. Let me feel you." You know? And then there's Muslims, they're saying, "Allahu Akbar."
Allahu Akbar.
You follow what I'm saying? That's the power of the word, the power of the thought.
Because the word goes beyond your religious belief. It also stimulates what's already in you. You know, I learned early on that the Quran was already written upon our hearts and our soul. We just our intellect is trying to catch up to that.
That's right.
You know?
My man.
That's right. Or surrender to it to connect to it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But that ego,
That's
when you get
surrender.
that education, when you got that 6-figure job, I ain't bowing down. I'm better than that. That's it, please.
For example, when Malcolm was in jail, he said the hardest thing for him was just to get on his knees. He said every time he got on his knees, he stood right back up. Every time we done, stood right back up. You know what I mean? He just couldn't come to that conclusion.
I see some people that you have to be humble.
You have to be humble.
Allah allows you to see things.
Yes, a lot of things.
And you can read characters.
Yeah.
You know, and what you read, what Prophet Muhammad was taught, Iqra, read in the name of your Lord, but we want to read a book. It's a recreation. Read your experience. Read what you see in front of you.
Read
I send you signs.
I send you signs every single
second, every single day.
But we ignore the signs so we can read this book.
Yeah. I mean, or I'm going to get you up into the hadiths, trap you up in there. When the Quran is the book. This is the book. And it is guidance, sure, without doubt. Don't tell me Becky's story.
Yeah.
How, you know, but you can tell me how Prophet, I can't how Prophet Muhammad Islam, you share with some how he applied some of that hikmah and wisdom, so I can better appreciate how to, you know, put it in the put it in that context, you know. But I also realized that Allah has showed us all context. If your heart and your mind is open, your experience, He's there.
Exactly. You see Allah every day. We just got to learn how to see.
Yeah. Take a moment. Take out. You know, this is why I say the most important time is a tajuhu. You know, some of us get up, we got to pee. I mean, go to the bathroom early in the morning, you know. But that's a sign from Allah. You know, after a couple of days, get up. Get up. That's He's telling you, man. You know what helped me to get up? But one of my friends said, there's a hadith that said Allah says that if you don't get up, it's shaitan peeing in your ear. And that's not the word up, you know. But peeing in your ear. What? Let me get up. Let me get up. Let me get up.
Feel the earwax coming down your neck.
And what I do now, everything is spiritual. Everything. You know, Allah says, well, He made the creation in 2 days, the earth in 2 days, and the earth. One was a mist, and the other one was a physical. He had to bring them together. This Kaaba together. That human soul, the human spirit together to function to serve Him. And the test is, man, because that whispering of our creation, that use of stuff for some of us guys, that use of stuff for some of the women, because it was that woman that raped him to try to get him. She ripped his shirt, right? But say, look, she's trying to say he did it. Don't that squeal? Yeah, he did it. But then the witness said, look, if his shirt is ripped from the back, that was her push. That was her drive.
Made him think.
And if his shirt was ripped from the front, that was his.
That was his.
And then you see the story, and I haven't got the answer, man. Yeah, but you see in the story of Yusuf, 3 times they use his shirt as evidence.
Okay.
3 times they use the shirt as evidence. The first time when the brothers kill him, or throw him in the well, they put the blood on the shirt, and put it on the father. He tried to, as proof, he's dead.
Yeah. The wolves ate him.
Yeah, the wolves ate him. The second time, the woman tried to get him.
Yep.
And he ran. I hope many of us could run. But when we're in that situation, sometimes that oxygen get to the brain, you can't run, you can't think.
Not only that, the person that he was with was the most beautiful, the most powerful.
Yeah, please. Some of us get weak with that beauty. You know? Come on, man. You gotta keep it real. If you don't keep it real, you're gonna slip and fall. And it's like a Sisyphus rock. You know the story of Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and Jill fell right after. It's that continuous cycle. If you don't break the cycle. You know, and one of the things that Allah has said that help break the cycle. Now, I remember in the Nation Islam days, man, this brother used to, when we first heard it, brother used to say, you see a pretty girl, he said, Astaghfirullah. Some of us used to laugh at him. Astaghfirullah. I wish we would have paid attention. It took me 30 years to understand. He was right.
He was
right. You know what I'm saying? So now I learned, man, if that thought hits you, you got to do it like a wacky weed. Quick it. Get it quick. Yeah. Because you allow it to sit.
Yeah.
It will grow like that quick.
That's so true.
But you got to be in tune to yourself to recognize it. You know, really, that is real. You know, and that's man.
So right now, we were talking about spirituality and everything, and you were talking about just reading Allah's signs, right? Some people can't see, but there are some people who can see, right? And there's certain situations that we get into, like, oh man, this is from Allah, this is a maktub, it's written, right? And do you think there's certain signs from Allah that we just can't look into it too much? Is it is what it is, or is it like, oh my God, this happened to me, this has to mean something? That's some of the stuff that we struggle with when it comes to people in their 20s get into their faith. I don't know if there's an easier way to break it down, but
and second part to your question is, can you apply that to the experience that you've had here with growing this and
yeah, man, please, man. Look, my whole life is that experience. Really, wallahi, man, really. Now, I'm gonna try to
merge it.
Condense it. Look, I was a member of the Nation of Islam. All right. We sold fish, we sold papers, we sold Muhammad Speaks, and stuff that the inner cities wanted. When Imam Muhammad came in, he dropped all that. So now I got to get into the society, and so I wanted a better life for my children. Allah says, take hijrah, take flight. This world is expansive. So I was looking for a better opportunity. So I searched out and wound up moving to Richmond, Virginia. I thought that was more conducive for my growth, and it proved that it was. So now I'm in Richmond, and I'm coming down with some spirituality. I'm alive spiritually. I'm looking for the signs. I'm looking to recognize them because I'm in darkness. I don't know. So I got to rely on Allah. I don't have a friend to call on. The only friend I got to call on is Allah. I'm out in this world, man. Then I went to the sister, trying to find a place. She said that if you can't make it in Richmond, man, you can't make it nowhere. What? I got jihad, man. Because when I was in the Nation, we read a book, As a Man Thinketh, So Is He, by James Allen. That is your thought, however you think, and you got to cleanse your heart. Another book we read was The Greatest Salesman by Og Mandino. So the guy interviewed me and asked me, could I sell? Can I sell? Yeah, I could sell. I couldn't tell him. I couldn't tell him I sold Muhammad Speaks. I couldn't tell him I sold bean pie and fish. I told him I sold food and educational products. He was educational. Bean pie is food. That was no lie.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And thank God he didn't ask me. What type, So I got the job because we was clean. Muslim was clean, was upright, was honest. So you could trust, was trustworthy. So I grew and evolved in that position. And they was teaching me management skills. So now I come from the Nation of Islam, and my own personal family in Georgia, they was all independent people. They worked the land, they worked the pulp, all type of jobs in pulp mill. Came from the Elijah Muhammad talking about do for self, up be my nation, accomplish what you will. So now I'm gonna open up a store. I had no money. I had nothing but faith. No money, nothing but faith. So now, and so I couldn't listen to nobody, because if I listen to anybody, they're gonna call me a fool. Okay, but I had a guy that was Harun. His name was Harun, and he was a fool like me. But he had the skill set about paperwork.
Okay.
I could give you the idea. He go, oh man, he put it down, and then I got the gift of gab. I can make it happen.
There you go.
Piece is there, okay? So now we got agreement with this building. Now I cut a deal with the building. Now the building's all raggedy and everything. Allah make a way.
Well,
Allah will make a way. This building was all raggedy, and I couldn't open up a shoe store. I didn't have the money. That dream was a little bit too big. But I've been rich today. I would lost my soul probably. Because I worked for a shoe store that was a sister's shoe store. Women buy shoes.
All the time.
All the time. All the time. That's too much. I ain't no Yusuf. That's just too much. You get paid. I was getting paid off commission, man. I was a fat rat, man. I was like, woo-wee. So Allah knows, he's most wise. He knew that I could not open up a shoe store. I still got the name. It's called J. Markison. It was going to be the name of the shoe store. Man,
the name alone.
Yeah, I've been rich, man. So Allah left the situation, man, that now I had to open up a bookstore. And that was my second choice. We had to put ceiling tile. I had no money.
You had no walls, didn't you, when you first started?
No, that's
before
museum.
That.
That's
a bookstore.
This is a bookstore. This is in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
This is the first business I opened up. I had $100, man. That guy showed me how to go to Five and Dime store, not a Five and Dime, but Warehouse Five and Dime store that you can buy ceiling tiles real cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, I got ceiling tiles. I got sheetrock. I had carpet. I mean, and then I used to work for the store called Tallheimer's. It was the Macy's of the South. They gave me free furniture and everything. So it looked like I had put money in it. It looked like I had put money in it, man. So now I go to the SBA to try to get a loan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? They don't want to give nobody a loan.
Small business.
The money, yeah, there's nothing there to give you some more money. They give you money to fail. And give you enough to fail. They gave me $25,000. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. You know? But now they locked this, might have been a little bit more than that. But then what happened, I went to one of the meetings, and a banker came out. And they said that if you get the letter from the SBA that they're going to give you the loan, you can use that paper to go get some money.
Because they want to give money to people that already have money.
There you go. So now I got my paper.
Yeah.
So now I go to this lawyer, Muslim lawyer, and I told him what I think I want to do, because they put the money in inventory. Okay. That means I got to buy inventory.
Oh, okay, I get it.
I already got enough inventory. I need some working capital. I need some money that I can pay for bills, pay myself. I need like that. So I go to the SBA. They must have given me more than $25,000. So I go to SBA and told them I needed to switch up the money. And now he's mad at me. Because I told him I had brothers over here that would give me money and loan me money, and nobody gave up nothing. So I got to change up, so he's mad at me. But he told me, man, look, you lucky you got my friend tied up in the bank. Because if you didn't, I would refuse this loan.
Wow.
So what happened, I went to the SBA, went to the bank, took the letter once I got it. Said I need $5,000.
Yeah.
It took them about 20 minutes to give me $5,000. A black man in America. Back then days, that didn't happen for me anyway. The next time I went, it took about 15 minutes. The last time, he didn't even help me. He told the lady, give Mr. Muhammad what he want. Now I'm feeling like I'm Big Willie, man. Now I know I'm learning how to play the game.
Big Willie, yeah.
I'm learning how to play the game. I learned the game now, I'm in the mix.
In the mix.
So now, it's a big old raggedy building. And matter of fact, Muslims would help me fix it up, man. I remember the fire inspector come by one night. We didn't have no lights, no power. We had to use candles for the light. So the fire inspector came by. We might have been candles. It might have just been a fire. Put up in the building, man. Fire inspector knocked on the door and said, man, look, I understand y'all, bro, but y'all got to cut that out. Y'all can't do this. So we had to stop that.
Stay warm under the fire.
Yeah. So we started, man. So we fixed up the building. Then, alhamdulillah, I had another brother come in. He wanted to do a dojo. So he took the basement, cleaned up the basement.
I like that.
Another brother came in. He wanted to do a health food store. So he in the back, in back of the bookstore, we had a health food store, Oasis Spring. Now a miracle happened out of Petersburg. Our brother had a health food store in Petersburg, and for some reason he closed down. Gave the brother his whole shop, his whole inventory, man, health food stuff, man. Look, man. Ginseng, Coca-Cola, man. Oh, man, all health food. Then I had like a mezzanine area. I wanted to do a restaurant, coffee shop.
Okay.
But I struggled. Man, that cash for bookstore is a hard business, man. That's a hard business, man. Hard.
It's probably a lot easier than it is now, though.
Yeah, please.
Hey, but you're also in real estate too. But you probably didn't even know.
Yeah. That happened later, man. That happened later. So what happened? Then I rented the space up on the third floor to a sister that was a seamstress and a couple artists. So now we got revenue coming in.
Yeah.
Revenue coming in, and I think the rent was only $500 back them days. But it was a struggle, man. But I was able to get all kind of books that I wanted. I had no shake, no imam, nobody putting a cage on me saying, don't get this, don't get that, don't read this, don't read that. So I'm in the store. One of the books I read was The Philosophy of Islam by the leader of the Ahmadiyans, Ahmed. And in that book, he talked about the Nas, the spirituality in the 3 levels. Man, that was the most empowering book. Next to me, hearing the Imam Muhammad. And I wasn't caught up to, who they are, what they are. Yeah. I'm looking at the seed of the knowledge that they're giving me. And I get with them today, and I understand the human nature, that we had the tendency to want to worship people.
Yeah.
We did. I come from the Nation of Islam, man. Elijah told us, well, now I don't want to say him, but the community's got us to saying that Farad was God.
Yeah, Farad. Yeah.
Okay. And the reason why I hesitated with Elijah saying that because I seen on a video out of France, never in my whole life, I seen Amir Muhammad say, Ashhadu ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Hamadan Abduhu Rasulullah. For those that believe in Allah, that there's no God but Allah. You know, here's his voice. You know, but Allah. You know, I never seen him say this. Yeah. You know?
But you said the video came out of France.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. You know, you can see him standing up for those of us that believe that Allah is God. You know, he ain't saying nothing about Farad.
So that was something that mystic talk that came out of the nation was something that manifested from the actual community, not from the leadership.
Right. Because like if you look at Farad's letter in 1930, he said that I am the Mahdi. You know,
the Messiah.
Yeah, the Mahdi. Yep. You know, the one that come back, the Majid, to come back to revise. Yep. Okay. Yep. Now there's concepts and thoughts that there was a group of Muslim scholars got together. Some say 24, some say it's 12. That got together trying how can they reach the African American people to come towards Islam. You know, and they come up with this woman that Farad was chosen. He came and started through different means. Some reports that he first started with after Noble Drew Ali got arrested. He was told by David Ford of that leadership for a very short period. Then he got put out. And they got put out because they said that he was too young. And I'm not sure, but also because he looked like an immigrant, why they did not accept him at that time. So then he wound up going to Detroit, and where he started what he called Allah's Temple. Well, I'm not sure now that I've seen a couple other reports. I've seen a police report in 1932 that they were saying that it was the Order of Islam. I've seen that reports that he changed it to the name Allah's Temple of Islam. And then you see the reports that he changed it after 1933. It became the Lost Foundation of Islam in the Wilderness of North America, short for the Nation of Islam, in 1932. That they say that Farad, there's a report that say that Farad's birthday was February the 26th, 1877. This is the story that the Nation of Islam say. But if you look at the picture of Amir Muhammad that they have, if that was 1877 and this was 1930, he should have been what? 70 at least 60-some years old. Yeah. Okay, that picture, he ain't no 60-some years old. Okay, there's no question. Yeah. Quite young. So if I got put out one place because I was too young, I'm gonna come back to you. I'm older. So I see one of his, what they say, giraffe enlistment record. They got this guy, Wallace Farad, died Farad. Listed birthday as February the 26th, 1897.
That makes more sense.
There you go.
What's funny, I was talking to my dad about, the nation and some of the teachings and just the culture and the history of it. And, we talk about this and that, but after I sat and thought about it, it was like, if you understand the history of our people and how imagery played such a vital part of our history, what he did was necessary to bring people in, and then that whole process. It's like, it's almost like distilling water or distilling alcohol. It has to go from the top to the bottom.
It's like a leech like cock. This three, he said was in the moon, triple darkness. So we need triple things to come out. Farad had to start. They said that between, and when he got arrested, they said there was 500 people in the newspaper, 500 people that came out to protest his arrest. Seen reports that they say that there was 8,000 members. And I've heard reports that they said that he had 25,000 people that he gave names. This is Farad.
Wow.
Now, then you got Elijah. He comes in. Now, he starts a little, something went wrong that even his own brother didn't agree. Brother Kalak. And this is what forced him out, him and a couple of other people forced him out of Detroit to go into Chicago. Now, and then if you study the Nation of Islam, there's different changes. In the early years, 30s, 40s, and early 50s, they was learning Arabic. Allah was God. They was learning more Islamic things. When he went into prison in 42, when he came out, he put more focus on economics, okay, and development. We got to do for self, and even with that, he used to still point us to Mecca. Farad told him that the streets of Mecca was painted with gold. Guess he never thought he would make it there. So in 57, when he went there, he found that them people had nothing. There was no oil then. Yeah. It was sand, you know. It was nothing, man, you know. And so he said, man, these people ain't got jack. We better come back and do for self.
Yeah.
And then he put more emphasis on do for self. So then you got the 60s coming in, 50s and 60s. Now you got a different wave of people. Mm-hmm. People that don't have that moral value, that moral fabric, that first wave of people have. Okay, and that relationship with God. So now we become more nationalists. We become more for that money. Become more for that greed. Yeah. And you start seeing that decay. And Malcolm had made a commitment to be upright, a commitment to be good. Yep. So when he got closer to leadership, he started seeing some of this corruption. He's like, hold on, what's up? Yeah, what's up? You know, but he's still stuck with it. Okay, so then, you know, everything wasn't. He's still stuck with it. Yeah. But then when he finally did split, to show you, see that people try to make us want to worship Malcolm. Alhamdulillah for Malcolm. Alhamdulillah. He represents the best potential what we can do to change. But he's only a link in the chain. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you look at that link, you're gonna miss everything else. You're not gonna free yourself. You're still gonna be enchained. You know, they gave us Malcolm. For what? For us not to look at Elijah. What made Malcolm? Elijah. What made Muhammad Ali, who was greater than Malcolm? Elijah. What made Imam Muhammad? Elijah. Allah. Through all that. Yeah, okay? Allah, you know, he's the best of planners. Shaitan plan, but Allah's the best of planners. You can see Allah's hand in this work. You know, you asked me a question earlier, you know, in the either it's a CIA report or FBI report, some agency report, you know, or the internal spy assessment. I'm not sure. But you can read it and it's pretty good. And it points out that in I'm going to say 65, you know, when Malcolm got killed, that there was 38 numbered temples in the Nation of Islam, 31 unnumbered temples in the Nation of Islam. Yep. 9 of them you got to subtract, because when Elijah Muhammad got arrested, he told those FBI cops, whoever they was, that he had 9 temples, 9 organizations around. Only 4 at the time had numbers: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, and Washington, D.C. But he identified 9. So we do know Cincinnati, Baltimore, New York, San Diego, and Youngstown, Ohio was part of that first group of that 9. Then you was under Malcolm. It moved from 38 numbered temples to 60 numbered temples. There was a certain requirement. There's at least you had to have 25 registered active believers in the temple to earn a number. Okay. So there was some growth that he produced from in there. Then you move when Farrakhan took over from 65 to 75. At least 75 of those, and this is based upon Muhammad Speaks, or Muslim Journal Bilali News. I'm not sure what it was called at the time. It was listed 75 temples that had numbers. I don't recall how many. I think it's 81 that total. So now what he developed, he moved 15 of them, grew under him. And I'm not talking about how within inside the other ones how much growth came out. We're not looking at measuring.
Yeah, but you're saying just how many in terms of masjids.
Right. Now, and if I could recall right, it came out plus 8 that he extended. Now, under Imam Muhammad from 1975 to 1980, that number became 165 masajids. Now they moved from temples to masajids. 11 of them, which made it 176. 11 was overseas, throughout the Caribbean.
Wow.
Barbados, Trinidad, Bermuda, and St. Thomas. At least 3 of them that I'm aware of. May Allah forgive me, and for those that do know the others, forgive me for not knowing.
Yeah, if you know the real numbers or if you know this research, then feel free to
hit us up.
reach out.
Yeah,
reach
the
out to
other
us.
Caribbeans that were under Imam Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad's leadership. Now, so you see, if you look at the numbers, look at the growth. He's doubled them.
Yeah.
He doubled them. But yet they still want to give us Malcolm. Because Imam Muhammad gave us the light of the Quran.
Yeah.
He gave us the light of the Quran. We all hear it. Sorry, may Allah have mercy upon us.
Somebody trying to knock and get in on this conversation.
Yeah. And they know the secret because they're knocking at that side door. All right, now let's go back real quick back to the 1800s.
Yes.
Here we go.
Now, in the 1800s, the first Muslim community was documented in the United States, led by a guy named Bilal Muhammad on what they call Sapo Island.
Okay.
In the War of 1812, he told his slave master, I got 80 men to help defend this island. I can't count on the slaves that you own. But he used a different quote. He used the same quote that Benjamin Franklin used in the House of Congress, and he made reference to the Bay of Algiers with that quote. I won't make the quote here. But he identified 80 of them with weapons and to defend this island. In 1826, he wrote his own Risala, instructing the community how to pray, how to fast, holistic living, and when the best time to dhikr.
Oh, yeah.
So when
Wow.
in the evening and Fajr. So now there's
Early
a
in the morning.
spiritual consciousness.
Yeah.
Or something made Sufi. I don't like using labels.
No.
But a spiritual awakening was obviously within him. Okay? There's movies about him. There's a movie called Daughters of the Dust. In this movie, it shows this old man dressed like us in Western clothes, sitting by the water teaching his child how to dhikr. Then you got brothers walking in back of him, dressed in robes, looking outwardly like Muslims, but yet being baptized. You know, we're changing over to Christianity. It shows you the psychological warfare that they did to move these people from there. Both of them was plantation managers in the United States of over 450 people. Now, to bring it more personal to me, more personal to my community, the first time many of us heard about Bilal was through Muhammad Muhammad. May Allah have mercy on him. Muhammad Muhammad, because we were struggling to identify who we were, our culture and our heritage, where that under Elijah Muhammad, we but in those days, they used to call us coon, Negroes, and everything, all about a human being. Then under Elijah Muhammad, they started saying that we was the black man, Asia the black man, only the cream of God of the universe, cream of the planet Earth. Not only Elijah Muhammad said it, the more Science Temple said it, and these first Sunni Muslim communities said it in different aspects. So then black man. So now, Imam Muhammad said that we should call ourselves, find a personality in Islamic history or in African history that we can identify with, you know. And he used the example of the Italian leader, why the country Italy got the name. You know, he described that leader and how they got that name, and how a few other countries. Like I learned recently, Turkestan, Uzbekistan, Iristan, all these stands mean land. Urban land, Turkish man land. You know, this Iristan is land. So when the first group is whose land?
Whose land that is?
Okay, is where they come from. So he comes back, man, boy, what's going on with my thoughts? So with Bilal, he said we should call ourselves Bilalians. You know, some of our immigrant Muslims at the time thought he was trying to do another sect.
Okay.
Oh, stuff Allah, what you doing? No, man, we trying to solve our mental handicap. He said, call yourself Bilal because look at Bilal. He was enslaved. He was an African. He was a Muslim.
He was Muslim.
You know, so what? Who better you going to identify with?
Exactly.
Because then he came up and said, okay, you don't want to do that, call yourself African American. 2-3 years later, Jesse Jackson, Douglas Wilder, who was a senator of Virginia at the time, and a few other black leaderships met in Chicago, had a meeting, and said, we're going to call ourselves African American. And that's how that started.
So before that, we weren't even referring to ourselves as African American.
That's right.
You know what, man?
Look, leadership.
I didn't know
Look,
this.
I want to start you real quick because what? like we never known that.
Yeah, no,
We've
look.
never known that.
Y'all should get some Bilalians on your podcast show.
If you know any.
Really,
if you know any, send my wife.
No. I'm telling you, there's a Bilalian judge. A Bilalian judge.
We gotta talk to him.
It's her. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
Even better.
Plymouth Elamine's daughter out of Atlanta, Georgia. She was the first one I heard in a long time say, I'm a Bilalian.
Wow.
Then I met this brother in North Carolina. Sadiq, man, may Allah have mercy on me, man, for messing up your name. But he wrote the book, America's Imam. He's in Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston, North Carolina. He has his birth certificate say Bilalian.
Oh, wow.
So there's Bilalians out there. You know, and that's deep. Now, what did Bilal mean? Bilal represent calling everybody to prayer. Help get rid of the idols. Got on top of the Kaaba. Got on top of the spiritual and physical self and raise everyone. Allahu Akbar.
I like how you
put Allahu Akbar. Hey, As-salaam. Come to success. Hey, Allah, hurry to come to prayer, then come to success. This is what Bilal represent. Now, and then the other story about Bilal in America is what? In Islamic history. When he converted to Islam, we converted to Islam, right?
It was hard.
So they tortured him.
Tortured him, that's what I'm saying.
His slave master put a rock on his chest.
Yep.
And he was out in the desert, high sand, man. Negro, you better change your ways. You can say Allah, Ahad. He couldn't do no more. He put up the one finger.
That's all he had left.
They did that to us in America. You read the story of Kunta Kinte? They took his history, his name, his character, everything. But we find in America, in between these two Bilals, not one Bilal, but two Bilals. Not one, two. In America, history.
Wow. I
found a tombstone with the one finger. And that one tombstone said Sambo, that name they used to make mockery of us. He said, no matter what you did to me, Tahi, Allah's Akbar, he's one. Then I found these tombstones from Florida to Canada, out west, as far as to Kansas. So it wasn't just African American Muslims, descendants, but even Eastern European Muslims started doing it. You can see it in Frederick, Maryland. You can see it in the town called Muhammad, Illinois. They tried to change the name from Muhammad, Illinois to Middletown. But in their cemetery, the early cemetery say Middletown. You go in there, you got tombstones with the one finger on it.
Oh, my.
Tahi, one God. Then you go in a town called Mecca, Indiana. These are Eastern European Muslims, okay? And there's two cemeteries. There's one cemetery they call the Hickson Cemetery. You know, I hate to use these terms like this, but I don't know how else to say it. This little white girl, redhead white girl, man, said, man, look, the town only 300 people, you know? And she said, look, I know, I'm going to take you to my family cemetery. Her family cemetery was Hickson. Go in there, find 4 tombstones in Arabic. One of the tombstones, the woman died in 1917, said she was the wife of a noble Sharif. And then in the Arabic they write, is the old Ottoman script, which was demolished in 1923. So in America, we got the actual Ottoman script on tombstones, as well as the early African American Ajami script writings. Okay, wow. So now I find in that cemetery also tombstone with the one finger. Then she take me to another cemetery, which they call the Arabia Cemetery. They got sailors on the tombstone markers. Then they got the one finger. From Mecca, Indiana, to Terre Haute, Indiana, to Bloomington, Indiana, to the University of Bloomington, Indiana, found in their cemeteries tombstones with the one finger on it. The first president of Bloomington, Indiana's wife, her tombstone had the one finger on it.
Oh, man.
These we found them all around. Now, when you go back, they look at books, you know, understand tombstone cemeteries and all that, they do acknowledge that somebody else seen that. But they say they believe it's pointing up to heaven. Go figure. Every tombstone, if you're an odd fellow, which is part of the Masonic people, you got chains. If you're a Masonic, you got the circumference. Eastern Star, you got the star. Jewish, you got the Jewish symbol. Christian, you know, whatever type of Christian you are, there's different type of crosses. Or the hands, or the angel. You got some religious symbol. You know, if it's a Q dog, you might have a Q dog symbol now. You know, I don't know, I haven't seen it. All right. And the military symbols, cemeteries, they use the crescent for the Muslim. But on these early tombstones, you got the one finger.
They said they going
and
to
they
heaven,
think they,
when I down, going there.
Yeah, come on, man. They kind of keep us spooked up. They say they think that's what it means.
Man.
So that's why it's important for us to tell our story. You know, there's another story like that. There's we know Harriet Tubman, right? We know her story. Okay, look. her name, she was born Aminatha. Is what they call
Somebody,
it.
I actually did learn about
Harriet
that.
was
That's
her
it.
was her nickname.
It was her
or
mother
something.
name.
Was
Or
her
her
mother's
mother's
name.
name.
And she took on her mother's name. Now, I question if it was Harriet. You come out of Africa, Harriet? Get there. Come on. Hagar.
Hagar, yeah, right. Yeah.
Hagar, what you want to say?
Yeah,
My
right.
ancestor in Savannah, Georgia in 1850, same time as Harriet Tubman, mother and her came. Her name was Hagar. So the language, we can't speak. We can't speak clear language. So that she might sound like she was saying Harriet. You know what I'm saying? We give them the benefit of the doubt. You have that transition of the name. Okay. So, but hear what she said. She was a believer. I can't say she was a Muslim that we pray today, but she was a believer. She said she waited for God's inspiration to guide her. She followed God's inspiration. The only Allah said that He will inspire us.
Yeah.
He would motivate us. She didn't say she waiting on. She didn't say she was waiting on the Lord like that. She,
I was just reading a book by Stanislavski, famous actor. Basically, they say the father of modern day acting, right? He said inspiration can only come through hard work. So when you say that she was inspired by God, God inspired her, that means that inside she already was uplifted. She was already spiritually aligned.
What you think might help her with that? There's reports that she would fast every Friday.
Wow.
Every Friday. Some people now today, astaghfirullah. Because we're not supposed to start fasting, only fast on Fridays. We're not supposed to do that. You can do Thursday,
Monday,
Friday,
Thursday.
Monday. Dude, you cannot
But it's the
only
intent.
fast. But there's the intent, the environment. She didn't have no place to do it.
Yeah.
She didn't go to no Jumu'ah place.
Yeah, she didn't have no.
So you know enough to say, look, let me fast on this holy day. And then if you look in the museum, she's standing in the Nation Islam dua with her hands cupped.
Oh, I didn't know that. The writings on the wall.
And then from in the same area, the same region, who comes out of there? Job Ibn Dijalo, Kunta Kinte. Now, if you look at in this area, you got the Eastern Shore, and you got what they call St. Mary's County. I'm not sure. Southern Maryland. They call it
Maryland right now.
Then they call it Southern Maryland. Okay. Southern Maryland was ruled by the Catholics. St. Mary was the first place that it came in. Catholic was part of that Spanish Inquisition, man. Oppressive. You ain't gonna practice this thing. So you see that. And their churches, they got like a big cross in front of it. Like tattoo. No, you a Christian. You out with what you doing? We're crossing you out. Okay, this is what these churches look like. Now, but also on that side, the first report of a Muslim coming there as an indentured servant. Matthew de Sousa Bridge, what they call it, Sousa Bridge around this area, I think is Matthew Sousa. He's a Portuguese. He's dressed all like a Muslim pirate. Kufi garbs, everything. Everything. Now, I got to go back to research more about him, but that's what they give you. Yeah. Then, now you come to the Eastern Shore. On the Eastern Shore, they left early. The Europeans left kind of early. Who came after that was Quakers and Methodists. They lost that tobacco crop and they went into wheat crop. 8 out of 10 Americans support the Quakers and don't know it. You eat grits? You eat Quaker oats?
Oh yeah, I love grits.
That's Quaker food. They control the wheat. You go out there, that's their market. The straw brooms they make, the wheat.
That's why they call the Quaker the oatmeal.
Oh, yeah, I
Quaker
love
oatmeal.
oatmeal.
But now the Quakers, the thing with the Quakers and the Methodists, they believe that all of us have a potential to have a relationship with God. The Catholics don't. So when these Muslim runaways, these slave guys, the people that was enslaved run away and met up with them, recognize God. That's why they got their freedom. Now, and if you look at African Americans, the first church they went to was African Methodist Church, Zion Church.
Oh,
You got Robert Allen, Richard Allen, whoever it is, out of Eastern Shore going up to Philadelphia. That was the wave. You look at the African Methodist Zion Church in the Eastern Shore. Their churches got Islamic architect in the windows. They got minarets, the core, the adhan. Then you go read in the history. Once again, somebody's come up, and then it's unique to them because they're pointing out the uniqueness, but they call it Gothic. Gothic. Now I don't know because my Batman, Robin days. You know, Gothic to me, man. You had the gargoyles, you had the animals, you had things that protect you. There ain't no Gothic on this. This is pure Islam. So now I'm wondering where you get this word Gothic. So now I go investigate where these Gothics come from.
Shit, Google.
Google sure tell you about it. Then you go in the Gothic people out of Europe that were the first Muslims.
Wow.
And then they conquered them, and so now you see these European guys, people that was Muslim, coming up with these gargoyles type things, you know, hiding the religion. Mm-hmm. But you see the Islamic architect in it. Even in these churches down there, man, there's a church that they changed the windows, new modern windows. Mm-hmm. So the windows are square, number one with the Islamic architect. Mm-hmm. But in the window, in what they may say steeple, what we say minaret, they drew an Islamic architect to put in so that same type vibe is there.
Oh, okay.
Down south, they say that there's, down south in their churches there's two doors, one for male, one for female. In Savannah, Georgia, on the second floor, the first African Baptist church, on the second floor of all those pews had this Arabic script written on it, on each one of the pews. So, you know, Muslims was also engaged to sort of church. So some of the first churches, they didn't call them churches. It was what? House of prayers.
Oh, man.
Lord Akbar, Lord Akbar. Come on down for prayer. You know what I'm saying? But and with the Gullah people down south, most Denali people, you know, they sitting in the chairs now. We're going to lost that way. In the chairs, the male and female sitting separate. They're facing the east, and they bury the people towards the east. It's still their ritual, still their tradition.
And we just don't see it. It's so many things seem as though they're hidden in plain sight.
Plain sight. What did Trump do? Plain sight, right?
Yeah.
Best thing to do. But they say put the knowledge in a book, in the library. We ain't going to go read it.
Yeah, Malcolm said that. He said if you want to hide something from a Negro, put it in a book.
There you go. And there ain't only Negroes these days.
Yeah, now.
Well, Negro means black.
Yeah.
We can be
People-
black at
people in
heart.
the dark.
We can black in the soul. So yes, the Negro today, all shades of Negroes, from white, copper, all shades. If the heart is dark, ignorant, we see what we don't. Back in the nation days, we used to call the people the Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
We don't believe that no more. We don't believe that you're dead, even though you're still alive. You don't believe. We don't believe. Allah said we don't believe.
Yeah.
You know, this world's life is nothing but illusion. That's why I go back to what I said. Once I saw the nation Islam, you know, all these other things crumble. Only can rely on Allah.
At the end of the day.
So you being in this industry that you are, museum business, right? What has this history told you about the future that we can look forward to?
Alhamdulillah. A bright future. I do see goodness is on the rise. I do see that in the house of Pharaoh, the people of the Musa experience, immigrants, people of the Joseph spirit, enslavement, we're all in the house of Pharaoh together, and we're learning that we all need to come together. Prior to that, prior to 9/11, man, they stayed in the suburbs. They're not coming down to the valley.
Yeah.
The valley wasn't going to them. But they found out that the new Negroes on the block, they coming out to reach to us, want to engage us, want to get involved with us. So what we have to do is watch our heart, purify our souls, and see each other as human beings. And that is where I think the world is coming to. That, you know, our common denominator is our humanness. You know, you could be all different types of Muslims, all different types of Christians, but and you could be male, you could be female, or you could be confused. But that common denominator is that we're human.
Human beings.
That is our common denominator. Prophet Muhammad was what? He is a prophet for humanity.
Not for Muslims.
Right.
And the Quran says, "Oh, you who believe," not all Muslims.
That's right. Oh, you who believe. Okay? And there's many believers on many shades.
That's
You know, and we have to learn. This like we just came out of fall. We saw the diversity of the colors of the trees. Orange, red, brown, and we marveled at it. Oh, look how beautiful it is, you know? But yet we come to the human being, oh man, you know, come on. Why can't that be the same beauty? Allah said He made tribes and nations not to despise one another, but get to know one another and look at the beauty of the diversity. If He wanted us as one, He could have made us all one.
Yeah.
If He wanted us to be angels, He could have sent us angels. He wanted us to be human, imperfect. Okay, because He wanted us to be perfect. We stayed in heaven. We stayed in that atom state of consciousness. But no, we slipped. Either slipped through greed, lust, whatever, how we ever slipped. Chasing the dollar,
Whatever.
believing in this world greater than you believe in all. However, we slipped. We slipped. So we have to go through a trial and error period. You have to, and within that process as well, I'll say we have to take time to reflect. What this museum has done for me, my brother, as I said earlier, I first opened up a bookstore. Gave me now I read like a kid, man, like a candy store. Then I practice, hit and miss. Learned some lessons, but then after that, I closed that because it became a burden for me. I created something else. I opened up a construction business.
Oh, nice.
What happened was I had no job, no money, and they wouldn't hire me. I was an unlettered man. I had no PhD, no doctorate, no BA, none of that. I was an unlettered man. They looked at my resume and said, man, look, you work too independent. I worked on my own. He was too scared to hire me. He obviously wasn't going to do the right thing. He figured he couldn't pollute me. So he wouldn't hire me.
Yeah.
I need a job. I need some money. I ain't got time to wait on y'all.
Yeah.
So I got to rely on self-reliant.
Yep.
On Allah, create something for me. So one night I was watching the TV show. You know how they talk about those no money down houses and all that kind of stuff?
No money down.
Man, okay. I'm going to send you this basketball. And if you're telling the truth, I'll be able to catch it in 30 days. Okay? So then, so I brought the package, read it. Put out. I never put out. I was scared that. I'm talking put out with your stuff is on the street. I was close to the edge. You know what that record? Don't push. You know, close to the edge. I know that one. So now, I cut this deal. No money down, but I go to an agent. You know, a sister that I knew. I don't need help. But look, I don't have no money. There's no money down, but she want her money. So now she want her commission.
Yeah.
So now I gotta go run around hustle to find how can I get some money to pay her.
Yeah.
So I go to a friend and they say, "Oh, I don't have, but I'll take you to another friend." He was this guy that had a business. So I go in there about 2-3 minutes. Now, mind you, I've been taught to read people quick. Such things quick. I'll tell you a few words, man. Please, this guy ain't got no money. He's perpetrating a fraud. Man, you know. But his customer, the other customer was sitting there, and she heard it. She said, I got a brother. He may be interested. Let me call him. She called him. I talked to him for a few minutes. He listened and said, man, I got a better deal than that, man. I say you 4 months for no money down. What? Y'all love. Man, I'm blistered now, you know. Oh, wow. So then when I go to his house, the guy that's sitting in his house is a customer that used to come in my bookstore and spend a lot of money.
Oh, wow.
Right, that's why I said, oh, wow, that's a sign. I'm good. Well, I can trust you, man. We down.
And it goes back to what he was asking about, like the signs that.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to read the signs. Ikrak, read the name of your Lord, okay? I sing your ayahs all the time. You know, pay heed. Now, my heart is dark. I'm going to read the sign a little bit different.
Yeah,
okay. It depends on where your heart is. Okay, how you going to perceive it. All right?
Flesh inside, yeah.
So now this dude selling me one house. He has a contract with a guy to buy it. That guy had an option. He maybe had only $20 difference between the note and the rent, but the option was a good option. I could work with that. I ain't got to worry about that mortgage. I ain't got to worry about that note. Now these other two are all of them are, rest of them are raggedy. Okay. But they're assumable. All right. So now I go in, man. I'm gonna get put out. You know. Now I may be, you know. So I move in. Scared of the house. It's just so raggedy. I never lived in a situation like that. But Allah blessed me, and I juggled. I brought things around me that I shouldn't. I wouldn't do it. I closed my eyes and let it wink and let it come, you know, towards me. And I'm building a house on quicksand, thinking I'm doing something. You know, now I am now. I got these houses, man. I got it fixed. Got 2 tenants in this one. I move over to the other side of town. I make one of the duplex. Got that fixed. Got a tenant, man. All I needed was $100 to pay. You know, I own 3 houses, $100. Now the 4th house was burnt down. I told my lawyer, look, I don't want this. We're gonna come up with a way we ain't gonna buy this. Yeah. Say we're gonna close on this.
That's the same for me. Yeah.
And, but with that, I could not assume that note, so that made it a little bit easier. But the problem was, the guy was a criminal and I was being criminal. Wound up not being, he's not paying the note, I'm not paying no note. But I was struggling, I ain't had no money every little bit, I was trying to fix it up. I got it fixed, man. Oh my God, I got it fixed. But now I'm getting ready to lose it. And I don't know about houses. Matter of fact, the guy came, I went over down to Norfolk, where you come from, to find out, talk to an agent how to save these houses. He said, man, look, Amir, Mr. Muhammad, you just, best you could do is collect rent a year or two. This is how long the process is going to take. That's the one you're going to pull money out. So, okay, I'll do that. I tried to, the other option was all I needed was $3,000 to clear up the deal, and it would have been mine. My parents, nobody would believe that. Negro, please. How you get these houses? No money down, no job, no nothing. They couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Couldn't conceive it. I got it. I need your help. But I couldn't get the help. Yeah. So what happened now, I reached out to this firm, Century 21 office. To buy a house. People say they buy houses, So, they were going to buy the house. Something happened that it didn't work. But part of the deal had a free and clear land. Free and clear. Out of everything, no matter what happened, this is my land. This is my lot. And the house that was next to it, in order to make it a duplex, you needed both land. And so I said, whoever's going to buy this, they need to get this.
They need the other side, yeah.
It took 15 years, man, before I got some money off that land.
Wow.
And, I left the deal and everything, but I benefit. I started rehabbing houses, cleaning the houses. And I was able to do that when, as a kid, my mother used to make me paint my room, clean the floors on Saturdays, get on my hands and knees and scrub. And they got that from being in slavery days. They used my great grandmother and all them used to take care of these slave master houses. So that skill set became innate in me. That they passed on down. So now I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid, bro. Man, please. Man, please. Them people, man. And then in this office, they had different type of people. They had people that had businesses or units like VCU to the college students. They was easy. Just tighten up little stuff. Then they had single families. Then they had Section 8 people. One guy told me, he wanted me to do the roof. I said, I can't do the roof. He said, man, I'm going to do the roof. You going to pay me to learn to pay me? I'll do it. So I go hire somebody to know. So I had this money. Yeah. Then I had lost my children. They moved back to Connecticut. Now I got all this money, man, but now I'm lonely. My heart is lonely. But now I got the skill set. So I go to Connecticut. And within 3 days, I cut a deal. A contract, about $5,500 to do this apartment building. Now, I'm coming, and this is my hometown I was born in, but, it's new to me. I didn't know it was a drug deal. I ain't fearing nothing but Allah. It's a $5,000 deal, come on, man. And plus more, man, come on, bring it on. And so I used to have to go to Richmond, from Connecticut to Richmond, to bring electricians and different people to help finish the job, kind of had a relationship there. But I need to cut this money. So I need to make this happen. Okay, so I kept the faith, so it's mind over matter. I got connect. So that worked. Then Allah evolved that. I met this sister up there that knew me as a young kid, and she didn't like me working in construction. But that was some good money. I used to pay people, man, on a Friday, have a pocket full of money on the right. Come Monday, I had cut a deal to make me a deposit to do this other unit. I had the time, oh man, I was a fat rat! But I lost my soul.
Lost your soul.
Yeah. I lost my soul. I didn't have time for me. I was too busy working and chasing that dollar. I lost me, Alhamdulillah, Allah was merciful. Out of darkness came light. I got with these people. I think they was paying me $14 an hour just to paint. Just to paint? Oh, man. And then they promised me to go inside, bring me into management skills. So I got that, and evolution came. Then I came here and worked in D.C. with a Muslim school. A brother knew that had a business in Richmond and knew I knew accounting. Brought me to a Muslim school here in D.C. And that's how I got into the D.C. area in the 1990s through my accounting skills. So utilizing what Allah was giving you. And so He giving you all something.
And you had to go through all that stuff just to acquire those skills.
Yeah. And it comes. So now I come. From now, I move up in there. You got the archives here. I went to experience these other Muslims that want to write us out, don't see that they're part of the American fabric, And so with the archives here, I felt, Allah says, reverence the womb that bore you, be kind to your parents. And I knew there was a need for them to know their history. There was a desire for them to know their history. So I felt that I'd feel remiss with myself if I lived in D.C. and then moved and didn't go through the archives. So I used to live in the archives, researching my family history. It was going through the microfiche. It was hard. But then it started putting Humpty Dumpty together again. And then while I was traveling seeing them, I started seeing the Islamic history. Then I saw that the immigrants needed to know our story. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was visual. My wife had worked for a museum, and so she taught me how to do a simple display, cost-effective, cheap display.
Yep. Pictures and words, putting it
Pictures
together.
and words and phone board, man. You hear me? $5 phone board. What's about to happen? But everybody was amazed.
Yeah, tell a crazy
it
story.
worked, you know.
Yeah.
From now I'm at this. Now but it's all spiritual now. You know, cause I believe in the power of thought, the power of faith. Now I've learned from the lesson that I can't let corruption come in. Mm-hmm. It's like quicksand. And, you know, you can't go after that fast money. You can't, you know. I felt that, but I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. But I'm allowing it. You're bringing haram in. Mm-hmm. So it's better to have patience and perseverance. So
stick to your guns.
There you go, man. Hold on, man. The race is not to the swift nor to the strong, but he that can endure to the end, and don't chase that dollar. Now, this will help me with not chasing that dollar. Now, I got these accounting skills. Now, I'm doing multi-million-dollar company, running their books. I'm using third to fourth man on the total pole of leadership. Mm-hmm. So I'm watching all this money. You know, so I learned I'm not chasing no more money. I never caught it. I chased money for 60. I chased money for at least 54 years. I ain't caught it yet. So I started chasing it. Learn how to attract it. Mm-hmm. Power of thought. Yeah. Bring it towards you. You know what that earth says, 1,137 miles per hour is moving so fast, is drawing gravity, right? Mm-hmm. And drawing that gravity is making that attraction. Mm-hmm. So you have to do something. Imam what the Bible says, build something big enough to attract all. Mm-hmm. So that's when you come in our museum, everybody's story, if you've heard, you got an Egyptian story, you got an African American story, you got an Albanian story, you got a Polish Tartar story. You
attracted it now.
Exactly, and there's people that want to. So now that you're at this point, where do you see the future of the museum? What is where you told us where it started. Mm-hmm. We've discussed all the history involved with it, where it's been. So where are we now, and where do you see the future of it? Mashallah.
What's it's not a total clear picture yet. But what I see at least anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 square feet of space. An interactive museum, a museum that like you see the other museums, big pictures, a larger picture. I see a room that where a 1700, a 1500, a 1800, a 1900. A 20th century,
so
21st century.
It goes by like a time.
It's on the timeline, as well as themes, where that right now we highlight at different periods of time the Muslims in American sports, Muslims in American music. Next month is March. That thing would be highlighting Muslim women contributions to the world.
Oh, I love that.
So we do different themes. So one of the things that we will increase our space with, that the theme will no longer be there, will be a permanent exhibit. That you walk in, you go through the Muslims in music, you go through the Muslims in American sports with artifacts and different things.
It's almost like the African American Museum in D.C.
And better. And better. Where that you can touch and be interactive.
Yes.
I see on the outside, the big TV screens. I see on the outside the little screen that when people ride by, they see Malcolm or Muhammad Ali or something. Man, that gonna blow somebody's mind.
It's funny you use those people that they know to come in so they can learn more about it because they don't know.
There you go.
Oh, that's how he got us.
God, Mama said, "Be wise as a servant, humble as a dove."
Okay, absolutely.
You have to use wisdom and be humble. Now, also, I see that there's be a room of the census records. The reason I say the census records blown up. I told you there's in 1850 a guy named Henry Allah coming from Ireland. 1870, there's a lot of people come from Ireland. Well, in the 1900s, in the Allegheny County in Pennsylvania, where the Trump and all this stuff went, but the early generation in the 1900s was Muslims from Syria. And these censuses, you see all these people from Syria that built the car factory, the steel mills, and all this kind of stuff. So going to build up room that these censuses, so that and then they see the early immigrant relations, Syrians, Polish Tartars, so that only African Americans will learn, but the Americans and them. so that they can feel connected and engaged. Then we would need. I'm not sure if we're going to be one floor or a couple levels. The next, whatever it be, we have to have a community room that will a multi-purpose room, where they say a Muslim want to have an event or a program, and we can expand and be large enough. I was at a place last night at the masjid I was telling you about.
The one in McLean, yeah.
I thought it was so unique, man. I'm an old school dude, man, and in this room they had a pool table. Had a ping pong table. I can't play ping pong. I never could.
Oh yeah,
that's my game.
My ego. I think that's why my ego is kind of balanced. I know I can't play. I just bad play. But boom! Come on,
it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
That's right. So Muslims need that.
Yeah.
They need a social outlet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are social creatures.
Yeah.
That's why we got to go to Jummah.
Yeah.
How the Nation of Islam was so successful, they kept us socially engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, kept us engaged.
Mm-hmm.
We're not engaging.
Well, I think something else that goes along with that is making, Muslims understand that we're more than just our religion. We're also our culture and our activities that we like to do. So we have to encompass these things with one another. We have to do these things together.
That's right, to hang out.
Exactly.
Like I went to another master. That's why I say I like traveling. I also travel throughout the earth and see what was before you. Now, in Pittsburgh at the time, they had a master in one location, had a community center in another. Mm-hmm. I didn't know the Muslim immigrant Muslim play pool. I didn't know they did something I like. Man, be down,
Yeah.
So it allows us to get to know one another in a social environment. And then maybe we'll start working together on different issues. These are things that we need, what the museum provide. And the other thing I envision that we're going to provide more third space events.
Oh, I like that.
Safe space.
Yes.
That people come with more of the creativity, more of the talent, open mics. Whatever Muslim creative is doing, so that people know that we're human. We're just like y'all, man. Just that we want a better flavor. That's all.
Exactly.
We didn't want all that cussing and all that. Come on, man.
So for everybody that's listening right now, we do have a lot of people that are local. So something in DC making this area better would benefit us all. You know. So for people that are listening, what can they do to help? If they just not only spread the message or the message of the museum, what can they do?
Couple things they could do. We need all financial help that's possible, and it's about relationships. If anybody knows anybody that got a building, we need new space. Our current landlord is looking to expand. This area is getting ready to grow. Yeah. This area is just like if you're in D.C. or the Metro. This is it. This is the last frontier, and we're right here at the crest of it. We need your help. We need your support.
And what's the location?
Our location is 2315 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. We could use marketing help. We want to attract. We want to build a first-class museum, man, that the world will come. Yeah. I know it's in the hood, but look, out of the darkness comes light. We could be a beacon. We could be an oasis. You could bring restaurants.
That lighthouse.
They're looking for. That's right. I was in Qatar, and the man said they call it Fanar. Master, Fanar, Fanar, which is a lighthouse, which is the beam, which is that guidance. We could be that guide. We do social service work. That's one of the reasons why I have a problem really kind of like moving now. I did want to be on Pennsylvania Avenue downtown with everybody, but Allah let me here, and we've been here for 9 years. But we engaged the community. We was giving out food distributions every third Saturday. We give out food snacks to the children every day. I'm more engaged in the community. Matter of fact, I ride by the street, I call them my children. These are my kids. I've seen some that come in, man, they told me they first said they were savages. Now he's saying he's a human being. But for me, man, I was taught in Elijah's day, he said, what is the job of a civilized man but to teach and train the uncivilized? So my job is to bring some light to these people. Yeah. You look at history, you look at the Moors of Spain, the successive Moors of Spain, the successive Moors of West Africa, the successive Moors around Muslims around the world. It came to them following the guidance of the Quran, dying so we can live. So it all begins spiritually. First it was the Word, and the Word took on flesh. That Word is a concept, is an idea. The Quran is full of words, full of guidance. But we have to cleanse our heart. We have to get rid of these ghosts that we allow our circumstances has brought us about. nor trying to be slick. Man, please. That slick stuff, man. You're only fooling yourself.
Doesn't get you anywhere. So when would you need the most support in order to move closer to this vision?
We need to do it now. We're looking to move. Our landlord said that they're looking to try to do something late fall. So that means we have to move before that. Yeah. Now, if it's going to be a temporary location till we find a different one. Now, we've developed our business plan. There's opportunities here in D.C. that they call community benefit packages.
Okay.
That because all these developers are coming, are there. I've lined ourselves up. We got our business proposal. We got our numbers in order. We got our track record. And so, and as I said before, I believe in faith. It's only going to come from the help that Allah sends. He will send that help to other people, other believers that may hear my voice and know that there's that need for that help. Because my thing is to attract. I don't have no money. Never had no money. So I can't rely on my pocket. I have to rely on my Lord. So I call on Al-Razak. I call on Ya Latif. I call on Ya Batin, Ya Beset. Allah said you call on him by his name. His names. So I call on him by his names. Now, some people may think it's spooky, Sufi, whatever they want to say. But that Ya Al-Razak, oh Allah, the provider, please provide for me from your bounties. So I had to cleanse my heart, that vertical, in order to attract, so I can grow out horizontally. So that's the test, But those that hear that response, they want to make it a little bit easier for your servant to make a place in paradise. I'm a sinner man, and Allah says for a sinner man, you're good will outweigh the bad.
Yes.
So we're trying to do good, and one of the things of benefits that we can do is that when you leave something that would be after you.
Yep.
This is an institution that we're looking to be after us. The foundation, the bones, and everything is set. We're a 501c3. Allah blessed me to be a businessman, go through different training for years. Something Muhammad said, he said he was born for this mission. I was born for this mission. when I worked for the Nation of Islam and they didn't pay me but $175 a week and had to feed my family, that I'm used to not having money.
Yeah.
I'm used to functioning, but it's time for us all. Allah said we're social creatures, man. If y'all want to see something big, want to believe, we can do this. Another thing I like to see, and especially with my Canadian audience, they understand. For the last 15 years in Washington, D.C., they have been celebrating October as America's Islamic Heritage Month. We get a proclamation, we do different activities, different events. A few pockets around the country have done it as well, Philadelphia and a few other places. Canada has October as Islamic Heritage Month throughout the whole country. Just like we got African American History Month, they got Islamic Heritage Month throughout the country with the school system. Everybody have to engage. So why can't we do it here?
We need it here.
Yeah.
First, I want to get my kids out on Friday without being a pain, man.
Yeah, man. Because we got to teach them. But here's the deal, though. See, now this thing. If they got October as Islamic Heritage Month, all that month they got to teach your kids somebody about Islam, and then they got to learn. So this is what I got to do. This is why they want Friday out. It ain't so bad.
Right. We have to educate them first.
Yes, but we created an environment. First it was African American History Week. Then it came African American History Month. But everybody trying to compact the black and Islam in February. Man, give me Islamic Heritage Month. Now why October? We chose October. They say that Christopher Columbus discovered America, right? In October. And we say we was here before him. So why not celebrate in October?
October too.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Did the second thing.
Yeah, tell them about Abu Bakr.
The other thing, October the 10th. The Prince of Muslim, when he got his freedom, he wrote his first letter. October 10, 1828. He said, I came from Timbuktu. And how he got captured. They told us we couldn't read and write. This man wrote in Arabic and his name. And English. Come on, man. 1800s, man. Please, don't tell me. Then, here you got Alexander Russell Webb, the first European American Muslim. He died, I think, October the 1st. And I don't know what years. I'm not going to go no years. Also, you got Imam Ezzeddin, who's the leader of a lot of people know him as Lomax Bey. When he came back to the United States, he went to Al-Azhar, came back. This is that first Sunni Muslim community that exists of the African American community. This is the same people that out of that community, many people know Imam Hisham Jabir. He's the brother that buried Malcolm and Betty Shabazz. Oh, wow. You see the brother looking like an Arab. He come from out of, that was Imam Hisham Jabir. He come from Dr. Ezzeddin, Muhammad Ezzeddin community. He was born in October. Elijah Muhammad was born in October. Imam Wardi Muhammad was born in October. Imam Jamil Al-Amin was born in October. How many more?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he pass in October as well? Imam Wardi Muhammad? Did he pass in October or no?
I want to say September.
September? Okay. I know it was the fall time.
Yeah, it was the fall.
Yeah.
I believe September. But all them guys' birthday was here.
Yeah, so it's very big, significant.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So why not October? Tell me another better month.
I mean, we can make it happen, especially with, like you're talking about America. You talk. It starts here. It starts with a conversation. Yep. Somebody else learns about it.
And pass it on. So then this October, y'all can start planning. You can do open houses at the masjids. Do exhibits about your history there. Local history.
Bring people here.
Bring people here. Do whatever program you do, man. You know, and engage the school systems. You know, they got to change. There's a need. You know, matter of fact, we talked earlier. I was talking to y'all about this Mo and Agmo and Moo and all Zuzu and all this kind of crazy stuff, man. You know, there's a Muslim community. We got to learn the network as well. There's a Muslim community in Manassas, Virginia.
Which one? The Prince William Islamic Center?
I don't know.
Because I live in Manassas.
Don't tell me no. I don't know no names. Man. Harley Road.
Man. Faces, man.
Harley Road.
It's on Sudley Road.
Kind of new, last 10, 15 years?
Yeah.
What's the imam's name?
His name is Muhammad.
Total name.
His name is Muhammad Hassan.
I think that's him.
I was about to say, Muhammad. You know how many Muhammads are?
Right. Construction too, so I don't know.
I'm not sure, but what they do, they put a lot of focus on school.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're really.
My little brother and my nieces go to that school.
They put a lot, but there's also in the public school. They engage the public schools.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was at one of the meetings that they, the parents and teachers was there, and they brought up a point about saying the child's name and the psychological effect it has on that child. Wow. If his name is Rashid, you're going to Roddy. You know, it takes a psychological effect on him.
You're like, yo, just call me Rod. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's why I have an issue. Don't compromise. Muhammad Ali fought too many people. What's my name?
That's a Ali. That's a great
What the? Come on. And so we got so they point out for me, I'm not faced with that challenge. So I'm not understanding that. So Allah said, "What made us tribes and nations to get to know one another." So once we engage and hear other people's problems, we got to come sensitize and emphasize with those issues, especially the African American people and immigrants. The African American people need to understand that some of our immigrant brothers and sisters need our help.
Yes.
They are the new Negroes on the block. Yeah, they may have ran from us. Yeah, they may not want to be with us. Look, the Western world tell them don't. Look at some of the people they put on TV to represent us. Would you really want to be with us if you had a choice? No, I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
I don't think so. Even the Quran tell you that. He said, look, the Quran said, look, I got to paraphrase. I'm sorry. I ain't not no Islamic Arabic scholar that can put it like, rattle it off like that. But in essence, it says, it challenged one of the ideas to say that, all right, will you make yourself equal with your slave? Will you give up all your money just so you can be equal with him? And the Quran said, I don't think so. That was what it's saying in essence. You know, Elijah used to say, do not cast pearls to swine. Don't throw your wisdom to swine, to people that cannot value it or appreciate it or use it or utilize it. Quran also say, don't argue. Don't waste your time and energy with arguing. I call it bean soup scientists. These guys that get, Allah say in the Quran, you get a little knowledge and become divided. I think I know this now. Yo, man. Oh, man. Yep. The Quran say, don't give it no time. It saps your energy.
It does.
Divert your attention. Don't shaitan, when we talk in the Quran, say shaitan will come before you, behind you, to the right, to your left. Everywhere. And if you like me, that shaitan ain't going to come from a kafir, it's going to come from your Muslim believers. Because that's who you hanging with.
That's what I'm about to say. That's
That's what I'm looking to my right. That's what I'm looking in front of me. If I'm right.
That's
You know what I'm
it.
saying?
No.
So we got to keep it real and be fair and just. None of us are perfect. Allah said He sent, if we was angels, He would send us an angel.
Yep.
Look what He gave us. Some people say Elijah Muhammad, for Nation Islam, was given Elijah Muhammad. And all the mistakes and all the things that they say that he did. Look how bad we were. You don't reflect on how bad we were in triple darkness. So again, you don't give a baby a steak, you give it crushed up food, baby food. And we was baby, we was in Jaliliyah, we was dead.
Yeah.
Come on.
So do you think through knowledge and education and being proactive in our own society, that's the way that we can get there?
Yeah, you got to engage. Like I people. I'm 64. People my age and up in the early 70s, especially African American people, we was taught to get educated. We saw education as the ends to a means. And some thought it was a means to an end, but many of us came to it was an end to the means. That we worshiped that dollar, that job, and we didn't come back into the community to give back. When we were segregated, we saw there was a greater need to engage, to help one another, pull one another up.
Because you didn't have anybody else.
Right. And then when they made it into the schools, they got in all these jobs. Oh, we made it.
We made it.
We sit back.
And Mama, we made it.
Yeah. So now we're not going to engage. Now once we made it, now we're going to take flight like all the rest. Most Muslims that came through in D.C., they say Master Muhammad or any master from the hood, and they made it there out in the suburbs.
Yeah.
With the rest. But we got to come back to the valley. That's our test. I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil. These are the principles we were taught. Teaching, training of the uncivilized.
So how can people find you that want to donate, that want to help? How can they reach out to you?
Okay, alhamdulillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There's two sources. You could go online, and I'm sorry, my technology is not as great. You can't go on your phone. It won't take it. But you go online, MuslimsInAmerica.org, www.muslimsinamerica.org, Muslim M-U, SLIMSINAMERICA.org. The reason why I spelled it out, there's so many different people, they may put M-O, many different phases, but it's MuslimsInAmerica.org.
Thank
You can go online, you see our history, the history of Muslims in America, and you can donate. Do the donate button through PayPal. Another website is AIH Museum. AIHmuseum.org.
Okay.
That is the museum website. And you can look at the traveling exhibit. We will come out to you, London, Canada, Brazil, wherever you are. We'll come to you. Fast moving, quick thinking, right down to modern time. I'm so sorry that Elijah polluted me like that, but that's how I think.
Can they also schedule a tour online, or do they?
Yes, they can schedule a tour online. Our phone number as well is 202 610-0586. You know I don't use it, right?
What's that one more time?
202-610-0586.
Okay.
My email is Amir, AMIR, at AIHmuseum.org or Amir at Muslims in America. Either one you choose.
Perfect.
And our Facebook is America's Islamic Heritage Museum.
Make sure you like it up.
And check us out on YouTube. We got some lectures, some nice lectures on YouTube. We got some nice cultures, little jazz flavor, little open mic. One of the coolest dudes I think around, man, Barack Blue, out of California. He's on it, spitting. And I think for y'all young people, call it spitting. He ain't spitting, man. He's sliding. That's a cool, smooth operator.
Smooth man.
Yeah. They like our flavor.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
One thing, man, we all get to know one another. You know, I talked earlier. You know, a lot of our immigrant Muslims, like the African American Muslims, they got a consciousness that could communicate with them about Allah.
Yes.
Lord. One of them you see is Imam Siraj Wahaj. He helped build more mosques in America than anybody I know. Going around, they go tapping him. Yo, bro, come on, man, kick it, and he kicks it Islamically. with the language and the flair. They like the flair. They like the African rhythm. We got that rhythm.
Yeah.
You see that thing in the beat.
swagger.
Yeah, the swagger, okay? And the others got, now we ain't limited now. The others got the swagger too now. I seen some with the, ooh,
Hey.
I like that. But they got other talents.
Yeah.
Allah's given us all some of other talents, so how do we all bring it together? Make a beautiful flower. Vase of beauty, engineers, doctors, lawyers. These are things that we have to come to, you know, to get to know one another, man. If we're going to achieve, if we want to achieve, and there's Muslims out there that want to. There was a Muslim organization, Islamic Relief, that used to support us to help us provide services to the community. And I saw it was that these people was coming out the mountains, coming down to the valley. We was the hybrid, okay, to help facilitate. I don't have no problem being a hybrid. If I can help facilitate.
Yeah.
Islam, I'm a diplomat. That's how I see it.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
For the faith.
Your
The
mission is the same.
Yeah. You know, if I could help bridge the gap with the African American community, with my Muslim immigrant community, and then help bridge the gap with my Muslim African American community, with my Muslim immigrant community, and then so be it. It is what is needed. Allah said us we're one.
Yeah.
Shaitan divides us. If you look at history, that's how we fell.
Yep.
Look at Malcolm. When y'all talk about Malcolm, when Malcolm just got the past few days, we honored the passing or the murder of Malcolm. Not honor the murder, but reflect upon it.
Yeah.
How that happened was divided.
Yep.
We allowed Shaitan to come and divide. Oh man, he's better than you.
Yep.
He know more than you. When we gonna learn? When are we gonna learn?
Starts with our history.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go. If you don't know your history, you will repeat it. You will fail. Muslims, learn our history. Get out of this color consciousness. We're human beings. Prophet Muhammad was a prophet and a messenger to humanity. Imam Muhammad said that he was a spokesperson for humanity. If you look at Al-Ghazali, he spoke in a humanity form. He talked to you as a human being to submit yourself, to surrender your will to Allah. These are the things, man. Allah didn't ask us to be Shiite, Sufi, Sunni, Salafi. None of these S's. The only S I know, and I'm limited. Please correct me. Please, I need help. I need guidance. My understanding, the only S he asks us to do is surrender and submit.
The true form of a Muslim. Allahu Akbar.
Oh, I think he just dropped the mic on that one.
And if y'all miss anything, we will have these links. We will have these links on our Facebook. We'll have it up on our Instagram and Twitter. So for those of you guys that are just first-time listeners, you can find us on Twitter, Young the letter N Muslim. It's actually Twitter and Instagram, Young the letter N Muslim. So it's Young and Muslim. And make sure you subscribe. Brother Amir is our first guest, but we will have many more. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's the Young and Muslim Podcast. Find us on the major podcast platforms such as Apple iTunes, SoundCloud, Castbox, Google Play, the Young and Muslim Podcast.
Yeah, and before we end, we just want to give a quick shout out to our brother Ahmed, who is operating the camera right now. My man. We decided to ditch the nicknames from this point forward, so I would no longer. We know. So we're going to wrap this up smooth, brother Amir. We thank you.
Thanks
we
so
thank you
much.
for your dedication
Thank you.
To your service to not only the African American community but the Muslim community, and not only the Muslim community but more specifically the American Muslim community, because what you do is so important. It's so vital for us in our survival going forward. As you said, our future is bright, and we'll make sure that this lighthouse shines people forward to that. Yep. So with that, I'm Jabril Salam.
And it's Muhammad Hassan.
And you have been listening for the past, I don't know how long, to the Young and Muslim Podcast.
I hope you enjoyed it.
And so with that, we greet you with the greens of peace.
As-salaam
Alaikum.
Goodbye.
Peace out.